Hello and welcome back to Blood and Ashes. This is episode 117, where we will cover the Gathering Storm Prologue to the end of chapter 4. I'm your host Mo, and I'm joined once again by my stormy friends, Villy.
Stormy indeed down south in Melbourne.
Okay, and Jody.
The wind is blowing, but I wouldn't go as far as stormy. Moritz, you just overreact all the time.
You know me, love a bit of drama.
Yeah, drama queen.
Drama queen. Yeah, okay, I'll take it.
Right.
I'll cop it.
Did I hurt your feelings?
No, you didn't. Villy, I see you have a new background, so you have made the big move.
Yes, I am in a new home, which is fantastic. Soft carpet underfoot. No longer the stable with hay and things.
Cow dung.
Cow dung, that yes, and hay and things and rats. Mostly rats.
I think it was the
Nice
cockroaches
soft carpet.
that really got to you.
Soft carpet's good for podcasting, good for acoustics.
Good for acoustics. Beautiful peaks and troughs I see on the screen.
Well, the listeners must let us know. Does Villy just sound so much better?
I sound more mature now. Somewhat intelligent.
He got a haircut, everyone. He looks
I
younger.
didn't even get a haircut. I just didn't.
Maybe just
brush
washed
my
it.
hair.
Jody's
I've
just
got
obsessed
one
with
eye
the
that
fact
can
Villy
barely
looks
open.
younger.
I got poked in the eye with a stick while gardening today.
You look great. It's whatever. You should poke yourself in the eye every week.
No, I don't want to. It wasn't pleasant. I'm still teary-eyed.
Speaking of teary-eyed, we are saying goodbye to the Robert Jordan era of the Wheel of Time and saying hello to the Brandon Sanderson era. There's been a couple of listener contributions that touch on the Switch. Jody, you mentioned it. I mean, we've actually been sort of building it up for a while now. Like, how is it going to be? And Joe, you were saying it was super, super noticeable for you.
Yeah.
I also found it really noticeable and in specific areas. So I won't elaborate on it too much over here, but I suspect that I will be calling it out from time to time where I feel like characters are maybe not behaving in a way that I would expect them to. But I was surprised to see how much of it was already present here, right in the beginning of the book, in the prologue and in the first couple of chapters. But also, like Jody said last time, super excited, right? It's not like it's bad. It's just noticeably different.
Yeah.
And still exciting. So I'm amped. Like we also said last time, for Joe and I, it's our second time reading this book. For Vil, it may be his second time. It may be his first time.
Not even he knows.
I have scoured the depths of my memories over the last century. And I have discovered where it all went. I caught up in this story to real-time release with the release of this book.
Okay.
So I had multiple years of waiting and already...
Just like the rest of the world.
Yes, like the rest of the world. And it came out and I was super stoked and super amped, started reading it and could not remember a single thing about what was going down.
Like the
And
rest
then
of the
made
world.
this decision
Very
to
relatable.
restart and restarted, and then fell off it. Then made the decision to restart again, restarted and fell off, and then we decided to do this. So this is uncharted territory for me.
So are you saying conclusively you started reading this book, but you couldn't really
Never
remember
finished it.
anything?
Yeah,
So
couldn't really
previously-
remember anything, and I think part of it is to do with, like, I didn't really want to remember some chapters with names.
There are
Mostly
plenty of them.
names.
Yes,
And there's
yes.
a lot of them. I
Which
didn't
are
really
important
remember
because they
them.
kind of show you, whose point of view you're working
Yes.
from.
You know,
Yes, yes.
if it wasn't Parents, Rand's, or Matt's name, I just didn't really remember it.
But
that
it's
well.
also the names of nations and geographical locations and all kinds of stuff. It is a lot.
I'm still not abreast with all of that even. Like now,
It's a bit of geography in this one as well. In this episode.
everyone always looked at my map that Jody sent me that's always around my computer on the wall. It's like, oh, what map is this? This doesn't make any sense. Gotta study that. You leave that
For the record,
on
we
the
all
wall
sent you
sometime.
that map. That was a team effort.
So,
Yes.
Vil, I'm just curious, and this is the last I'll ask about it, at least for this episode, because I'm sure it'll come up again. But, like, I thought that you had said you had read about Moiraine's rescue.
Yeah. But then again,
Specifically. And that's in the next book. So,
Nah, I don't. Maybe I misspoke. Maybe I
Maybe-
thought.
maybe you
I thought it
thought
was a
they talk
rescue
about
of
it, I
many
guess.
Faile,
Yeah.
and there's so many
that's
rescues.
fair. Okay, cool. Well, the reason I'm sort of not harping on this, but like sort of spending a bit of time on it is like Jody and I said, we've only read this book once. Even if you have read it once, probably have super, even more patchy memories of it than we did, because it seems like you may have even fallen off it at some point, if not early on. So for all of us, this is compared to the rest of the series, relatively new experience, which is exciting. I'm super keen for that.
Well, I can tell you how mine went.
Uh-huh.
It was just a
please
prologue,
do
so
over the next 3 hours.
full prologue.
God.
Only a prologue. It was just the prologue, right?
Okay, I can't do this anymore. So let's forge ahead, please, for the love of all that's good and holy. Okay, before we get to the much vaunted prologue, we first have to look backwards at all our mistakes and gaps in our memory. In everybody's favorite section, Jody, after 116 episodes, you still look surprised when I'm about to announce pullbacks. All right. We spoke about the Chaffiel Lasil who had stabbed, I checked, Joradin in the back. Arella was the name of the other Chaffiel that is always with her, who I think she started a lesbian relationship with one of the Shido. How many soldiers were sent to rescue Elaine? Turns out, there was a bit of math we had to do here. Remember, Villy was talking about like how many people went and what portion of them got killed and what was the butcher's bill and all that sort of stuff.
Like
So
10,000 died.
it's funny, like they don't
Accurate.
actually call out at the time when Birgitte sets off with them how many there are. You kind of have to do the math from the beginning of the chapter. So it starts with this. Before the attack on the gate, Gawyn had mustered 12,000 troops. So when Birgitte rushes back to the palace after the attack on, what is it, Half Moon Street or whatever the street was, Lady Cheyenne's...
Full Moon.
Full Moon Street. Close. Halfway
Some
there.
kind of moon. Oh, Artemis too. Anyway,
She got
carry
back to
on.
the palace and she told Gawyn, rally the troops, we need to go rescue Elaine. So Gawyn mustered 12,000 troops, mounted and with halberds. 2/3 were mounted and 1/3 were just with halberds. Okay, so 2/3 of 12,000 is 8,000. So 8,000 mounted troops. Keep that in the back of your head. When Reen Harfer brings news that the gate is under attack and that the mercenaries have turned coat, Birgitte asks Dylan to leave her all the mounted men and 1,000 halberdmen, and then to take the rest plus the archers and crossbowmen to take back the Farmading gate. So Dylan gets 4,000. No, I lie. The 4,000 halberdmen minus the 1,000 that Birgitte is asking for. So Birgitte is taking 9,000 of the 12,000 that are mustered here. And Dylan only gets 3,000 and all the crossbowmen and archers, which is what Birgitte was going to leave behind anyway, to go try and hold the gate. So Birgitte is actually still taking the bulk of their force. Birgitte also has with her 121 of the guard's women. So the women that have been set up as Elaine's personal guard. So she ends up leaving with about just over 9,000 and change in soldiers. And then the butcher's bill, as you said in your chapter summary, Vil, was at least 500 to 600 dead. Gawyn doesn't know because of the nature of some of the injuries. The balefire rod and like some of the people being blown apart made it hard to count the bodies. But he says about 500 or 600 dead out of 9,000. So we're not, ratio speaking, quite as bad. I thought it was like half the people, but it wasn't. It was just, a tenth, if that. But double that was injured. So it was a pretty significant force. And they're all the ones that sort of that ride out of that gate that we said last time was 100 meters wide. Right?
Yeah.
So like 9,000 troops coming out of a gate, 100 meters wide would have been a pretty impressive force on that hill to take down the Black Arger. Vil, you talked about Elaine sacking her own castle, and I sort of remember taking a bit like, I don't know if she quite sacked it, so I went and what is the actual definition of a sacking? And a sacked castle is a fortress taken by force, typically resulting in looting, destruction, and the slaughter or capture of its garrison and inhabitants. So, not quite that. She liberated the gate, because they hadn't actually gotten into the gate yet. When the gates open, it's all of Elaine's crossbowmen and archers on the inside, and Elaine's and Gawyn and the troops hitting Aramilla from behind, and all the archers and crossbowmen hitting them from the front. So they got well and truly squashed up against that gate. Then we asked, when does Swan task Nynaeve and Egwene with hunting the Black Archer? It's in chapter 14 of The Dragon Reborn, so early stages of book 3. So this is well after Liandrin had sold Egwene to the Seanchan in the Great Hunt, and it is specifically Liandrin's group that Swan sets them to hunt down. Remember, they had left some things behind, and they were going through them, and there were all these false clues and red herrings and stuff in their personal belongings that they had access to. But Elaine wasn't in the room with Swan and Nynaeve and Egwene. She had been sent out because she was still the daughter heir and sort of had to be kept separate from all of this. Swan had only tasked Egwene and Nynaeve with this, but Elaine, in typical Elaine fashion, had sort of wangled her way in there. So many books ago, and here at the end of book 11, they strike what I feel is maybe a final blow against that group of Black Archer sisters, but when I read the biographies of some of those sisters, they do still have actions later, so maybe they do still get away as well. Then Sylvace offers the use of her secretary, Master Lunalt, and I was wondering, who was she offering to use Lunalt against? And she was offering to have him torture Aramilla, Nyan, and Elenia to force them to support Elaine. And Elaine wisely declined. She's like, no, I'm not going to torture people into supporting me. It's fine. We'll get there. Don't worry. I only need one more house after this anyway. When did Furyk Careddi find out or hear Tom Merrilyn's name? And we thought maybe it's in that conversation with Elmarat Moore, and it was. Moore tells Furyk about Tom Merrilyn in chapter 4 of book 10. He mentions this servant that was observed in Ebou Dar in the palace, in Tyland's palace, right? So like when Matt was there and there were a couple of sort of hangers on, there was a servant who seemed much more, he spoke too familiarly with people around him and was way too well informed to be a servant. So like even Tom, with all his discretion, did not escape notice from Elmarat Moore. Like he said, this guy is into something. And that's when Elmarat tells Furyk Careddi he suspects that he's an agent of the White Tower. And that's why they think that it's a White Tower agent named Tom Merrilyn that has kidnapped Tuon. We spoke about the guy from the band of the Red Hand that was sitting in the tree when Careddi arrives, and he had his forearm wrapped in a red sash or whatever it was. It's obviously a red arm. That's why he was wearing it. And I was thinking to myself, he's probably too proud to take it off. And also, he's like right outside the camp. So at that point, it probably didn't matter as much that Careddi saw him. It's not like he's scouting out in enemy territory. It's the guy's already right on top of Matt's camp anyway. Then, still in Matt's camp, when Careddi rides into camp with his Damane, they shield the Aes Sedai. We were talking about Matt's medallion and how did he know who's holding the power and who isn't. So I just went and I reread that, and it's all actually pretty logical. So Jolene tells Matt that they've been shielded. So Matt strides over to the Damane and he tells the Suldam and the Damane to release the shields. Matt suddenly laughs and the Suldam and Damane are shocked. This is all from Careddi's point of view. And Matt tells them, it doesn't work on me, does it? And that they need to release the shields or he'll pull them down and spank them. This is Matt's words to a Suldam and Damane. Careddi then steps in and he orders them to release the shields. And when they do, that's when Matt knows, okay, cool, they've released the power, or the shields at least, and then he can feel the Aes Sedai embrace the power because the medallion goes cold, and he turns to them and he says, release the power, they've done it, you need to do it too. So that's how he knows. He didn't need to know like how cold it was, how many people are holding it, what direction it's in, and it had nothing to do with that. It was just the logical order of events made it that those were the ones holding the power. Then, chapter 14 of Winter's Heart, so book 9, is the introduction of Tuon on the ship approaching Ebou Dar. She's thinking about why she is wearing a veil, and it is because of how she treated a Damane called Lydia the night before, when she forced her to tell her fortune and didn't like what she heard. Lydia is part of the group that came with Careddi here to Matt's camp again to rescue Tuon. So this fortune telling that she had happened on that ship the night before we meet Tuon for the first time, and it's also because of her treatment of that damane that she felt shame, and she put on this veil which doesn't actually hide her face. It allows her to operate as one of the blood, because she quite obviously still is one of the blood, but her identity is quote unquote masked, right? Like she is not acting in the capacity of the Daughter of the Nine Moons. So it actually gives her a little bit of freedom. And I also wondered if it subconsciously allowed her to not be the Daughter of the Nine Moons for a little while. And maybe that prophecy that she heard from Lydia, which is the one that we hear recited, in the chapter, was it Under an Oak, where they get married and she tells Matt why she agreed to marry him. She could maybe like avoid the prophecy for a while, like she heard this thing about getting married to this person that's going to capture her and knows Arthur Hawkwing's face, and like, who is this? I don't want any part of this. Let me put on this veil, and then I'm not the Daughter of the Nine Moons. That's me heavily assuming, but I think it could be a character motivation.
I concur.
All right. We also spoke about crossbow bolts. So, the primary difference between a crossbow bolt and an arrow lies in their physical dimensions, nock design, and stiffness. While modern manufacturers often use the terms interchangeably, they are technically distinct projectiles designed for specific weapons. In the length, bolts are significantly shorter than arrows. A typical crossbow bolt measures 16 to 22 inches, where a standard arrow for a recurve or compound bow ranges from 27 to 32 inches. In the stiffness, crossbow bolts are much stiffer and thicker than arrows. This rigidity allows them to withstand the immense mechanical force and high kinetic energy of a crossbow's release without shattering or bending excessively. Arrows must be flexible enough to bend around the bow's riser, a phenomenon known as the archer's paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Could you put those dimensions, those measurements into Christian units, please?
Good God-fearing units.
Good God-fearing units.
No. Multiply by 2.5.
What's this inches bullshit?
Blame Google and our predominantly American audience. The nock design also differs. Arrows have a slotted nock that clicks into the bowstring to hold the projectile in place. Bolts typically secure a flat or half-moon nock that simply rests against the string, as the bolt is already supported by the crossbow's rail. The fletching is also different. Historically, bolts often had only 2 vanes or none at all, while arrows typically have 3 or 4. Modern crossbow bolts usually have 3 short, rigid plastic vanes to stabilize their faster, flatter trajectory. And in the weight, bolts are generally heavier than arrows to ensure proper energy transfer from the powerful crossbow limbs and to maintain stability over short to mid-range flight. There you have it.
Wow.
As I said, different.
Yes.
Not same.
Good summary. Then I was sort of like wondering about Karedi's history with Tuon. So at the age of 15, he was selected for the Deathwatch Guard, during which he was cited twice for heroism and mentioned 3 times in dispatches. So at 15, he was already like kicking ass and saving Tuon's life. He was named the bodyguard of Tuon upon her birth. He was one of the 3 survivors of the first attempt on Tuon's life in the first year of her birth. Jesus.
Legit.
Seanchan, do not play around. Though the Deathwatch Guard are not supposed to become attached to those they protect, Karedi seems to have become attached to Tuon. He was reassigned to her bodyguard at his request, an unusual occurrence, and made 2 more requests to be transferred back later. And that's what Moore is talking to him about when they meet in... is it the Wandering Woman? Satel Anand's inn in Ebou Dar. That's where Elmarat Moore comes to see him. Right, that's enough from me. Time to hear from our lovely listeners. And Scott Wilson is back, baby. And he says, "Hi guys, I've gotten behind again, but wanted to talk about the wet clothes from a few episodes ago. What I didn't understand is why they got wet in the first place. They could have made an air umbrella, as we have seen many times in the past. Anyway, my favorite moment so far in this book is Queen Nynaeve. Will my husband ride alone? I'm not crying, you're crying. Love the podcast, Scott." So obviously when Scott means this book, he means book 11.
Yeah.
Knife of Dreams, yeah.
And he's right about everything.
And I mean, by the time he gets to this episode, when he hears his message, he would have also heard us going on about that cool moment from Nynaeve, us and many of our listeners. As for the umbrella, I know that Elaine's having trouble channeling at this time. But I mean, the fact that so many people are concerned about her being wet, you would think that Aviendha or any of the kin with her or like any of the other channelers would maybe think of maybe keeping her dry since she's pregnant. Like maybe don't let her get drenched by the rain. So many times that we feel like, guys, you know magic. Do the magic. You know, like you've got superpowers here. Just use them, you foolish fools. So we agree, Scott. But thanks for the message. Another old friend, Levi Wagner, sends in this timely message. He goes, "Hey guys, wanted to chime in on the new book coming up. Very interested to notice the author change. I have positive memories from the change, but a lot of that was the excitement that the stories would be finished, especially when Game of Thrones hit its massive dead end. One note from the last book that I thought of while listening to the last episode. I don't know why, but Elaine winning the crown does not land for me and feels rushed. Not that I wanted more time with the succession, but she gets handed the crown because of luck and quick thinking by Birgitte. In comparison with Perrin's rescue of Faile, which I hated before but now appreciate the problem solving and the tactics Perrin used, versus Elaine's strategy of, Min told me I'm safe, so fuck it, let's go. It is a future problem, but any thoughts on the next podcast series of books? Could get a jump on reading. Cheers, Levi." Elaine's behavior, none of us are fans. It's impulsive and not befitting a queen or a battle leader, a general, a Green Arja's sister that is supposed to be tactical, someone that's been schooled by Gareth Bryan, as we've been reminded very recently, just does not gel. So yeah, I feel the same, Levi. Like, I'm also disappointed in Elaine. I think my relief that the whole, succession thing is over is totally outweighing my disappointment. I'm quite happy. Take the crown. Okay, Luck and Birgitte, sure. But let's move on from here.
Before we move on, we have spoken many times about how childish she is and how young she is. She's not even 20 yet. Am I incorrect in saying that? I don't know. So
No, I think that's right.
Cut her some slack. She's a kid. Done. Moving on.
Totally.
She'll learn.
Your next series of books that we're going to podcast on, Levi, you're going to have to give us some time. We're going to have to sit and stew on that one for a little while.
We've stewed on it. We've just not agreed on it.
Yes, I'm still stewing. I'm still simmering away here.
I think we should do Enid Blyton's series on Peter Rabbit. Classics.
Did she do Famous Five as well?
Let's get this thin little books. we could do 10 books an episode and then done. One episode.
I mean, they are fantasy.
Yeah,
I mean,
talking animals.
They're not very in depth, though.
Oh, dude,
Oh, you think
might
so?
get a little bit boring.
Yeah.
It's up to us to analyze them and see if maybe there is more depth there than we previously realized.
Maybe we uncover a plot to brainwash our children.
I mean, yeah, for real.
Indeed. I'm still talking about it at 46 years old. I was brainwashed.
Levi also obviously mentioned the change of the author's voice. We'll get to that. I'll have some very pointed comments in specifically that arena, Levi. So stay tuned for that. Then, Jonna Pierce's role continues in her next installment, which goes a little something like this. And I've got to try and read it in Jonna's voice. Consider me the Brandon Sanderson to Jonna's Robert Jordan. Hello to still my one and only podcast crew. I tried another one last week. What I hoped to be an interesting historical type thing was not. The lady drove me absolutely batshit in one episode. I hope you have all enjoyed reading this first set of chapters as much as I have. I'm sure you have, because it's mostly delightful. I've been trying to figure out how long it is in real time from this point to the last battle. I know it's only like 2 years for the whole series, and the final book is literally just the last battle, but Elaine has her kids before that, I believe, and she's only maybe halfway there at this point. And doesn't Rand get Aviendha knocked up too before the final book? It's got to be like at least 6 more months, maybe? I'm super excited about the rest of the book. In the meanwhile, you all keep up the excellent work, and thanks for being so great. Good day all, Jonna. Thanks, Jonna.
You're great, Jonna.
Yeah, I love the ego stroking. That's great. You're going to get on the podcast like that every single time. As for the time, it's already been, remember we calculated how long has it been since Tam has seen Rand, and can that account for, or Perrin, can that account for like how quickly his hair has gone grey? And we said it was 2 years and change since Winter Night at this point. So it's a bit longer than 2 years. I always thought that the story was set in a span of 4 years, but quite right, like the last 3 books aren't going to be another year and a half, right? Like it's going to be a couple of months.
We hope. We guess.
We think. We assume. We deduce. I don't think that Elaine has her children before the final battle, does she?
What? I don't know.
No way of knowing.
No
Only
clue.
we would have read it somewhere once before.
Possibly.
You're looking in the wrong direction now.
I'm almost certain Aviendha has her babies after the last battle.
Yes. I mean, she's not even pregnant here yet. So
That's about as far as I'm willing to venture into this topic.
yeah. We'll have to see. Cannot say conclusively. As for other Wheel of Time podcasts, I think I've mentioned it from time to time on this one. I've tried a whole bunch of other ones, and at the risk of alienating any other podcast creators that happen to listen to ours, I'm sorry, but I haven't. Maybe write in and tell me to try yours again and why it is a good idea. But I've tried a bunch, and none of them really stuck. That podcast of the dragon, there was a couple episodes of that I really enjoyed, especially about that one about Perrin and the power of saying no. I thought it was really great. I actually should go listen to it again because it made me laugh a lot, which was really cool. Okay, that's it from me and the listeners. So just one little piece of homework before we get into the Gathering Storm, and that is recounting what happened previously on Blood and Ashes. Elaine is freed from captivity by her warder with the help of her loyal soldiers and the reluctant seafolk Windfinders. After the Black Archer sisters are gagged and bundled up, Birgitte breaks the news to Elaine that the Farmading Gate is under attack and some of the mercenaries turn coat, plus the fence-sitters are on the move. Elaine decides they'll take Aramilla's forces in the rear and crush them against the walls. When they get there, the gate is still holding and Elaine initiates their attack. Soon after, the gates open and Aramilla's forces are subjected to crossbow fire. Within half an hour, the fight is done and Aramilla's designs on the Lion Throne are in tatters. Aramilla, Nyan, and Elenia are told they will be ransomed to their houses to pay for the damage they caused. And meanwhile, Lur, Carrand, and Sylvace proclaim for Elaine, and she now has 9 of the 10 houses she needs to secure her claim. Later, Elaine receives word that the fence-sitter houses want safe passage and an audience, which she grants. But before they arrive, Elaine asks Dylan one last time if she wouldn't want to be queen, but Dylan is resolute in her support of Elaine. Meanwhile, Master Nori reports that the Black Archer sisters and David Handon aren't talking. Elaine has lunch with Birgitte where they discuss the nobles, and they both reckon they're there to ask for help against the Borderland army. That'd be the fence-sitter nobles. Also, apparently Birgitte has stopped drinking to protect Elaine's babies. Smart move. When the fence-sitters eventually arrive, they have to be reminded by Dylan that she won't make a claim to the throne. Elorian, still hurt by Morgase's terrible treatment of her under Robin's compulsion, is outright hostile towards Elaine, but the other nobles keep her under control. When they ask for help with the Borderland army, Elaine tells them to relax. She's already dealt with it in her capacity as an Aes Sedai, not as the Queen of Andor. Elorian has to concede that she did the right thing. They ask Elaine what she'll do about the Black Tower, and Elaine tells them that she can't do much more than what she's already doing by sending regular patrols. Eventually, Abel and Luan say they stand for Trakand. Elaine knows she has won the throne, but the more houses support her, the better. Then Arathel, Pelivar, and Aemlyn say the same, but Elaine knows that they do it for Dylan, not for her. Elorian won't stand for Trakand, but she says that Tremaine will follow the Lion of Andor when Tarman Gai'don comes. Meanwhile, Fury Caretti is closing in on Tuon and her abductors. He and a select group of his troops enter another Seanchan camp to ask about the fighting that has been happening in the region. Banner General Gamal Loon gives Caretti the lowdown. Multiple highly skilled armies are schooling the Seanchan forces all over northern Altara. Caretti can see what's happening. Tuon's abductors are drawing the Seanchan forces under General Chyson's command through the Malvide Narrows so they can slip through, but he doesn't divulge this to Loon as to ensure Tuon's safety. He wonders if this Tom Merrilin character is one of the great captains of this land in disguise. Caretti leaves and heads straight for the Malvide Narrows. They finally catch up to the Band of the Red Hand and enter to confront the kidnappers. Once in the camp, Caretti asks for Tom Merrilin, but when he starts making demands of Tom, the Gleeman tells him he may want to talk to the real leader here, Matt. Matt starts ordering the Damane and Aes Sedai around, and Caretti has to concede that it really is Toylan's toy in charge here. Matt asks Caretti if he can get Tuon safely back to Ebou Dar, and when Caretti confirms, Matt agrees to let her go with him after Tuon proves he can be trusted. Right then, Tuon speaks the words, and suddenly Matt and Tuon are married, and Matt is now the Prince of Ravens. Caretti is flabbergasted. Matt is also surprised, and Tuon explains that he fulfilled all the prophecies she was given regarding her husband. They get word of an approaching force apparently looking for Tuon and Karedi, and Mat knows it's time to make a stand. He asks Karedi for some of his men and sets a plan in motion while Karedi and a small force leave with Tuon and Selucia. On their way out, Tuon asks Karedi for his opinion on Mat, and it is favorable. Tuon removes her veil and presents herself as the daughter of the Nine Moons. If they are to die today, they die as themselves. Later, Mat is prepared for the battle with the Seanchan. Vannon and some of the Deathwatch gardeners have drawn the Seanchan forces to a clearing they have prepared, and a battle ensues. The band is heavily outnumbered, but Eludra's munitions, the super crossbows, and Aes Sedai secure an epic victory. The Deathwatch guards immediately set to searching the bodies for the traitor that dares come for Tuon, and they find him. Musengi realizes Mat never had a large army and is impressed by their effectiveness. When Mat asks him why he keeps calling him Highness, Musengi tells him that he is now the Prince of Ravens, so much for not being a lord. Back in Ebou Dar, Suroth and Galgan are at odds. They discuss the troubling news that the large Seanchan force chasing Rodel Ituralde into Arad-Doman is now outnumbered by Domani forces that have appeared out of the mountains. Galgan is taking more liberties and Suroth thinks she should be calling all the shots. News of the royal family's death has reached them and all the blood are in mourning. Suddenly the room fills with Deathwatch guards and Tuon enters. She shows everyone the severed head of Suroth's loyal man Elbar and lays out Suroth's traitorous plans. Suroth is made duck of all on the spot and her goose is cooked. Back in Andor, Pavara and a handful of Red Arja sisters arrive at the Black Tower and talk to Taim about bonding Ashaman as warders. They sense a bit of division between the younger Ashaman but are later taken directly to Taim. He's sitting in what looks like a small palace in a throne room lined with his loyal Ashaman. He's being quite obviously shitty, but very quickly agrees to Pavara's request to bond any willing Ashaman as warders, citing the old saying, "Let the Lord of Chaos rule." He and his men laugh maniacally, and it makes Pavara's hackles rise. That is how that book ended, and now we get to start a brand spanking new book called The Gathering Storm. I always have to double check whether there's a "the" or not, and it is The Gathering Storm. In this prologue, we have quite a few POVs, which we have split obviously between Jodie and Villy. I just wanted to make a quick note. So this prologue is 31 pages. The previous book, Knife of Dreams, the prologue was 91 pages. Crossroads of Twilight, 80 pages. Winter's Heart, 76 pages. Path of Daggers, only 34. Crown of Swords, 48. Lord of Chaos, 73. So not since Path of Daggers have we had such a short prologue, so I wonder if this is going to be how they are from now on, if Brandon favors a short prologue, because even compared to Path of Daggers, which was only 34 pages, this one has multiple points of view, where the other one only had 4. So Brandon certainly seems to be focusing the snippets, right? We said this briefly in the previous episode that the chapters also seem shorter. It's why we're doing a prologue and 4 chapters in this one. The last chapter we're covering today, I think, is only 5 pages long. So Brandon, certainly his style coming to the forefront just by looking at the index, a lot more short, sharp, and sweet. All right, so the first point of view in this prologue is that of Reynold Fanwar. I thought about using the words fan and war in some kind of ham-fisted segue, but I decided against using all the names because Philendre, what do you do with that? So I'll leave my segues, my quote-unquote clever segues, for the chapters with actual names. So Joe, why don't you get us started with a POV from Reynold Fanwar?
It's pronounced Ranoff Fanwar.
Fanwar.
He's Fanwar. You got to block your nose. You can't breathe through it.
Wait.
So Renaud, he's a simple man who lives with his wife on a farm in the Borderlands. That's where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
He's chilling on his porch, watching the roiling black clouds and silver lightning over the blight, as one does on a Tuesday afternoon in the Borderlands. Not dark clouds, black. Old Brando is very keen to let you know it's black. Not grey, not dark. He's never seen clouds like that before, and he's lived on this farm his whole life. So he glances away for some reason for a second, and when he looks back, the clouds are right on top of him, and he nearly shits his pants. But a split second later, they're back over the blight. So tricksy black clouds.
It's like Sauron's eye checking out everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But just feeling.
Just pumping over like, oh, he turned his back. Quickly, let's go check out. No. Anyway. His sons, he has a family. He's an older man now. His sons left for the big city long ago, so he's hired some local farmhands to help out with the crops. The struggling crops. As you know, things aren't going well in the world. This is when his neighbor, Thulin, pulls up in his overloaded wagon with his wife Galana. Looks like he's leaving for good. He tells Thulin that he has buried his anvil and is heading north, towards the storm. Yep, he's leaving all right. He says this is not the kind of storm you can outrun. He's going north to help with the fight that will surely come. If Renan is going to stay, he can go and dig up his anvil and other tools and sell them off. His wife also left her good pots for his wife, for Renan's wife. Oh, you can't pronounce this word. No one can. Auaine. There's one consonant in that word. Now, you know it's for real. I mean, she left the good pots, so ain't no coming back. No. He suggests Renan also leave to go north, that they are going to need everyone that they could get, and he should reforge his best scythes into pole arms and maybe some swords, and come and join the army that is surely forming. And then bring everything you own. We're going to need it all your livestock, all your dried beans and cured hams, the works. And with that, he leaves Renan some eggs and heads north. Owain, his wife, comes out and goes, "Sweet, eggs!" Yoink! Strinches up the eggs. Renan tells her about the pots, and now she also knows shit is serious. In true Borderlander style, she tells her husband they should go. Thuls is right, and heads back inside to pack. Just like that. Decision made. Renault heads to the barn to tell his farm hands to fire up the forge and bring him some scythes, and go round collecting all the animals. It's time to pack up, boys. We're leaving. The eldest farmhand, Vashir, is confused and not stoked, but Renault is having none of it. The storm is coming. We are leaving. The end. How's that? How's that for a recap?
Beautiful.
I felt good about that one. I mean,
how did you feel, Vil?
I feel that you could have immersed me a little bit more.
There's a lot of immersion to come.
A little bit
Brandon's
of what you take a productive pause, deep breath.
I thought I immersed you with the French pronunciation of names. I thought that would be enough. It's too superficial for you, isn't it, Phil?
No, I needed a little.
Saw
bit
right
more
through
to
it.
that.
All right.
It was kind of like slapsticky, if you know what I mean.
For such a serious moment.
Jody, good job.
Oh, thank you very much. Ego stroking. You know, we like it.
Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
What?
This is not the last time we read of Reynold Fanwar.
Oh.
No, it isn't.
Oh, Vil, you know.
No, I don't. I'm just hang along.
Bullshitting
you. We read his name again in A Memory of Light, where he is busy building a palisade with Matt.
Right.
And Elman Bunt, everyone's favorite apple cart farmer. Back, baby. He is in Memory of Light. He's actually, we read about Elman Bunt again after Rand comes down from Dragonmount.
And he walks through an apple orchard. Of course Elman's there.
Exactly. And then Elman is at the end again. So like 3 prominent sightings of Elman Bunt. But yes, Reynold Fanwar as well. He's working with Elman Bunt.
That's a very well-traveled apple cart, eh?
Jeez. And like in the thick of it, like somehow drawn to the Dragon Reborn, you know, like helped Rand out in a big way there when he had Matt who was going
the creator
bonkers.
In disguise.
I've seen people using Elman Bunt as like Twitter handles and stuff. Like people have recognized his prominence. It's pretty cool how Thulin, you know, like throughout the story, there's been Nynaeve predominantly talking about this coming storm, and like we see now, I remember reading this kind of stuff. You see a couple characters sort of feel compelled to go north. Like a storm is coming. They all use the storm analogy. This is not the kind of storm you can run away from, and we have to go. But Thulin isn't like it's not just some magical force like hand wavy thing. He knows it's going to be a battle, and he's telling Reynold here how to make weapons, and like he's going because it's going to be a war. They're going to need smiths. Thulin is a smith. They're going to need smiths. I need to go. It's all in, all hands on deck, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and like you said, Joe, like typical Borderlander mentality, right? Like, oh, there's a war. Let's go directly towards it. Pack up everything. We're going to
Fuck
war.
these eggs. We gotta go.
I do agree with all of that. That there's like this maybe this homing pigeon mentality for people to head to the war, especially with the Northerners. But the idea that over the Blight there's this black cloud with like finger tendrils that will just zoom in to you, check you out, and zoom out. I think is a pretty good sign that
It's being
shit's
very subtle.
wrong.
Yeah.
It's like it's about to go down. The black cloud is zooming in. It's the moments that it's announced.
And I mean, they're already experiencing the fucked up weather, the food rotting all the time, like
The
shit's
rotting
going
smell
bad.
now just in the
They
air.
know.
It's
Yeah.
like the whole world is rotting because this vile chosen is being released.
Speaking of vile, Vil, why don't you give us?
Not Vil himself.
Sorry, I did not mean
okay.
to. I did not mean to imply that Vili is vile. I was going to say Felendre, who is a what is she? A Suldam.
Yes.
Can you give us
think-
her POV?
I will. And I think that vile is not one of the worst things that I've been called in my life.
Jesus.
I know. Anyway, Felindre is a captured Suldam. We are effectively right now back in that scene where Rand was all trixied by the tricksty Semirhage into the meeting that everyone knew was a trap. And we're carrying on right there at that trap still. So she's rounded up. One of her pets died. They're not doing well, but she's the one in charge at the moment. And she's got to sort of show leadership now with everyone that's fallen around her. She is looking at this scene where some of the fallen Damane has been rolled up in blankets and put on horses because they are and have been told that they're being set free. This is not something that she agrees with. Like, how does this work? How do you capture someone and set them free? But there's a lot of strangeness when it comes to Rand. Rand delivers her a message that she is commanded to go and deliver, and she agrees, and then calls Rand the honorific of Lord Dragon, that she will take that. That's when one Marath Damane, the one with the braid, pops out one of those impossible gateways doors, the hole that they'll jump out into there. And then she questions the Lord Dragon as if she was from the High Blood. Now, you can only guess who this is. Old Nynaeve is back. Not back, she's still there. Anyway, her behavior is deemed unacceptable. You ain't seen nothing yet. Why don't you just get your message and get out of there before she starts? Anyway, Nynaeve, though, that Martha Mane wants to heal them, and the thought of them, that happening, has got them cowering, the surviving Damane and Suldam, and whimpering, and it's just not a good scene. But some of them was pretty well bludgeoned in the head. They might actually have serious brain damage if they don't get help. But anyway, they don't want it, and Rand tells her to give over. It's one of those things. He then gives them a very, very clear message to deliver to the daughter of the Nine Moons. One of still looking for this meeting and the peace that he desires, and with a very firm sentiment on that we must have peace. And then they all hop through one of those silver holes in the sky. And oh, if she could get her Nancy to do that trick, how fantastic that would be. And like that, they're all gone. And they will deliver this message and move on. In silence, she rides ahead so that no one can see her actually crying with everything that she'd gone through, old Philandre. That's the end of that little point of view.
I just realized all the gateways that they're making must be Ashaman.
Ashaman,
So
yes.
the
Otherwise
Damane
they could have
can't see
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. Joe, anything you want to add in there? Anything you noticed?
I don't know. I was a little distracted as I wasn't like totally immersed in his review there. But yeah.
No dramatic pauses, huh?
No dramatic pauses, nothing.
It lulled me into a false sense of peace.
Security.
Yes. I was not expecting that. Yeah. They like, hey man, why are you letting us go? And he's like, because I'm like weird that way. And then he lets them go. End of story.
Rand just knows he can't be fighting these people. He needs to be lining up their allegiance for the final battle.
Indeed.
So this is where I've got my first glaring Brandon addition that stood out to me. When Rand says to Maurice, yes, Maurice, I'm not trying to command you, but if you'll deign to join us, though, it will be closing soon. Like when he's stepping through the thing, like that whole line to me sounds like a Sando line. Like Rand is rarely so obviously patronizing or passive aggressive. You know, like I don't know. Did it seem like a normal thing for Rand to say to you? If you'll deign to join us, like being all like, oh gosh, okay, fine. If you will just
no, and that one didn't pop out to me. But I read all these chapters like without making notes, just reading last year. So I'm a bit it's not fresh in my brain.
Bit
one
nasty.
chapter does stick out a lot, but it's not in this episode. It's next episode. Aviendha. Okay. Have you guys read ahead?
It's in this episode, and it is Aviendha, and it's my next.
Oh right, okay, it wasn't my chapter.
It's a big one for me. Like it's actually much bigger than this. This is just one line, but for me, like Aviendha, we'll get to it. But okay, same thing, Joe. Also, what I noticed here is Felendri says something about the Empress. Might she live forever? Does that sound weird to anyone?
Might. They're interchangeable.
They are interchangeable, but I'm sure that they've always only said may she live.
May she live forever.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe Felendra is all snooty. She uses might. Yeah. She comes from the northern plains.
Maybe.
Most people think they're better than everyone
like
else.
Regional dialect.
Yeah, dialects. Yeah.
I mean, there is through all the text that's in there isn't there a bit of a reference to where she's from? Or I think it was in a different chapter where Mishima's from. But
that's in Tylee's chapter.
Tylee's chapter. But giving you this sense that the islands are big, they're different, you know.
Oh yeah, super big. Like Tylee is from an island, right? Like where they were not experiencing something that
trees grow weirdly. We'll get to that.
That's it. Yes, yeah.
Actually, I'll just gloss over
the flora.
But anyway.
Yes. I also thought when Lews Theron thinks to himself, I should have known one of them. I was wondering if one of them would, the Forsaken, ingratiate themselves or infiltrate the royal family. And I should have known it would be Semirhage. She always wanted, like the biggest prize and that sort of thing. I'm like, yeah, Lews, maybe you should have known that when you organized this thing that everyone, including you, felt like was a trap. Like maybe Semirhage is involved here. Like maybe one of the Forsaken, if not specifically Semirhage. Like, god damn it.
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020. Even for the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah. Rand thinks he's just sent a message, like to him it's like, okay, Felendri, go tell the Daughter of the Nine Moons, blah, blah, blah. But Felendri's not exactly champing at the bit to get back and actually deliver the message, because she will, at the very least, be told she can never hold an Adam again, and she will never have Damane to handle again as a Suldam, and she could even possibly be made Dako Val. So she is dreading this. So, like, Rand thinks the message is going straight to the Daughter of the Nine Moons, but Felendra is, we're going to have to wait and see, like, how long does it take her to actually, get an audience, because she makes it pretty clear to Rand here that, like, I don't just get to talk to the Daughter of the Nine Moons, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is going to
be
not
tricky, like on my speed dial,
No, so I've got to wonder, like, how quickly this message is going to get to you on. So, let's see. That's all I had, but I guess sticking with the Seanchan, Jody, can you give us this quick POV from Tylee Kurgan?
Yes, her name is pronounced Tylee. It's been 2 weeks since she fought with Perrin at Meldon. So, in the meantime, via pigeon letter, or probably Rakan letter, she's been raised to the blood and is leading an army of thousands of men along with good old Mishima. she's thinking about Perrin during this whole chapter and how awesome he is when Mishima trots up on his horse next to her. She's standing on a hill or sitting on her horse. There's a lot of that going around in this prologue. Mm-hmm. She's dealing with some complex emotions regarding Perrin, and like she really respects him and she likes him, but she knows she's going to have to face him in the future on the battlefield, and that's not going to be good because this guy's badass. But also, like Rand, she knows they should not be fighting these people. They should be making a truce. And also, there's been oddities happening around them, and we know the world is weird, and this weird shit is happening. Her scouts are seeing things. Men are vanishing. Rations are going bad. Like, you look at the ration and you go, oh, good, I'll have that in 5 minutes. Put it down to go make a cup of tea. Turn around, ration's gone bad. And other general weird shit. Like, as we all think, like, lots of it's going around. She thinks they shouldn't be fighting the natives. Something is coming, and they should be working together. But voicing her thoughts would be treason, or at least insubordination. So, yeah, the system that the Seanchan work on, like Falendre as well, like, she's worried about punishment. Tylee's worried about punishment. Like, everybody wants to do the right thing, but they can't because they'll be made slaves. We've spoken about this terrible organization before. So they sit and talk about trees for a bit. This is where I was glossing over, but now I will talk about the trees, because on Tylee's home island, it's super windy and rocky, so the trees go really, really tall and have little bushes at the top of them. Whereas here, all the trees are gnarled and low and bushy, and they're talking about that. Super important that you guys know this for the plot, okay? And then she turns towards Mishima to give him the order to begin scouting for a campsite, and she notices a rather gnarly-looking arrow sticking through his neck, all black and barbed. And I was like, that sounds familiar. He opens his mouth, but all that comes out is blood, and he falls off his horse, and that is the last we see of Mishima. I liked this guy. Now he's gone. One of the few Seanchan that you can actually like.
I know.
He dead. So the bushes rustle near her, and a god-awful pig-faced Trolloc jumps out and attacks her. Her horse rears and throws her, saving her life in the process. But she's back on her feet in a flash, sword out, and her screams of to arms, attack, joining other voices screaming the same thing as more Trollocs run out of more bushes. For the first time, she gets a good look at it. A monster from Nightmare. Something she had always dismissed as superstition. So she charges at it. God, I love this woman.
Yeah, she's great.
Flowing in to beat the brushes, relieving it of the burden of one of its arms and then the massive burden of its head. She sees hundreds of more Trollocs rushing out of the bushes, attacking her men. So she turns and charges down the hill to join the fight. That's that.
Epic.
This woman, man.
She's pretty great.
Making it hard to hate the Seanchan.
I am disappointed that Mishima didn't have his face off with the Trolloc and he got blindsided by an arrow.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit like a dishonorable death. And he was
especially because he's the one that was saying like, these Trollocs, I'd like to see one of these Trollocs one day, and then Perrin tells him, like, no, you don't, but you will, and when you do, you won't like it. And here it is. Like, he didn't even get to see one. Like, all he got to do, he was talking to Tylee when he got an arrow through the throat.
About trees. Those were his last words.
Yeah.
He was like, and she was asking, shouldn't these trees be blooming now? And he's like, fuck, I don't know. I'm a soldier. What do I know about trees? Goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh, it just means like you're just talking about gardening can kill you. Look at me and my eye injury from the grass.
I didn't want to say
stop rubbing that eye, Bill.
You're looking rough. You should stop touching it.
You know, the last time my eye felt like this is when I had that arc eye that we spoke about just not too long ago. Yeah.
Branch eye, even worse.
Tylee's new rank is obviously, remember, General Galgan promoted her to Lieutenant General from Banner General and raised her to the low blood. That happened in the last episode. In his meeting with Suroth, he says, by the way, you've been dithering. I've promoted Tylee Kurgan to the blood.
Ah, okay.
And in rank. We had previously assessed, like, when Tylee says to Perrin, like, oh, she wouldn't want to meet him on the battlefield, we were saying, oh, it's probably because she respects his strategy, but also because she likes him. And then she says it outright. Yeah. Saying exactly what we thought, which is cool. It is pretty funny how she also thinks that like the effects of the Dark One's touch on the world here is just that this is how things are on this side of the ocean. Then trees don't blossom in the spring. And also the food spoils really quickly here.
Yeah.
No, Tylee, just get with the program. This is the end.
You think it's bad? Yeah, you should go see what's happening in Seanchan right now. Yeah, this the safe stuff, but also chaos and murder and mass.
Yes, and also
go
check out the clouds in the Borderlands. That'll give you something to talk about. Just more points for Tylee as well when she thinks we shouldn't be fighting these people. A traitorous thought she can't even share with Mishima. Like, that's just RJ and Brandon making us go, okay, you can like this person. She's a good egg. And she also mentions that this shouldn't be possible. They are way too close to Ebou Dar, like well within the Seanchan controlled area. So obviously there's a waygate somewhere that these Trollocs could come through, and that Elder Haman had not been able to get to yet.
He's only one Ogier.
I went and I read about that, Joe, because I couldn't remember, I'm pretty sure that we were reading about Carlden being with Rand recently at the manor house, and like probably with him going to Ebou Dar and stuff, because then I thought, who went with Elder Haman to go seal the waygates? And because we know that Loyal and Aerith, and probably Loyal's mum as well, went back to the Great Stump to go talk, because Loyal was going to speak instead of Elder Haman. And then I read that, and this hasn't yet to be confirmed, this is just what I think, it could even have been Google AI that told me this, so take this from whence it comes, but apparently a number of Ogier were sent in coordinated groups to go seal more waygates. So like, it isn't just him doing it. Elder Haman actually rallied help. Maybe our listeners who have read anything about this can correct us. If Google AI is giving me a bum steer here, let us know. All right, that's quick and easy. Another little bite-sized point of view coming up from Villy's best mate, Graendal. Vil, what is she up to?
Oh,
those hips.
She is fine. She's having a fine afternoon, sipping G&Ts, eyeballing her pets, and having some whimsical thoughts about the world when a gateway opens and nearly claims the arm of one of her prize pets. Not too happy about that. The messenger, though, is fine with a capital F, and she takes the moment, slows it down, and ponders about compulsion, but then didn't want to ruin him with a compulsion that she'll use on him, because that would end a man. And plus, it's a trap.
I don't think she is concerned about him. She's concerned about who his master is and what her ruining a servant of this master would do. It's not because of any kind of compassion for him.
That too. But
only that.
It would be a trap. I mean, he would clearly be sent and known that you try and take such a voluptuous, blonde hair, strong chin, just everything is fine.
Specimen of a man.
Anyway, there is a meeting, and you need to come. The meeting is in the Northern Blight. It is a fantastic place to go for meetings. It's kind of like the Northern Territory is in Australia.
What to sell?
Shit in the bushes that will eat you, snakes, and the hot as hell.
It's hostile.
It's just muggy and humid,
inhospitable,
and flies and biting insects. And did I mention the crocodiles? I did. Yes. Anyway, she pulls in there, not stoked, channels a little bit of air conditioning around her, and Graendal makes her way into this. Whoever decides to have a house in the Blight and made it black stone, not very good on you. But anyway, the next to arrive is Demandred, and he is so obvious alliance partner Mesaana, and she's like, amateurs. You I mean if you're in cahoots, you don't rock up together at the meetings.
Yeah.
Anyway, she berates them silently for their stupidity. A very handsome Moridin then enters the room, and Mesaana jumps up with a loaded statement of them needing to hurry. Rescue is important. We need to go and rescue her now. But Moridin shuts her down very quickly. He's not having any of this. In Moridin's opinion, Semirhage, who she was referring to for the rescue, deserves some prison time and some time to contemplate. And it's almost as if there's gasps in the room. One from Graendal, because she didn't know that Semirhage has been captured. And from Mesaana as well, because she's like, how can she say that? How can he say that there won't be any rescues for her? And then Moridin lays down the bare facts and why I feel so strongly about this. The disobedience and the doing and the blowing off of the hand. We see Moridin flexing that missing hand quite frequently in this. Like, she hurting him has hurted Moridin. That's why Moridin is so angry at Mesaana, at Semirhage. Anyway, but Mesaana's request is not only then very severely shut down, as I mentioned, they're also banned from aiding her. Like, it's like full ban. They are ordered not to do anything. There'll be no rescue. But there's an important note here. When the discussion happens around this, why Moridin doesn't want to rescue her, and Mesaana pipes up that, but their woman that was there and saw it. So there's, in that little group, eyes for the Chosen with Rand that's reporting back to them. Dum dum dum. We know who it is.
Who's it again? It's the one Aes Sedai that
Aes Sedai,
keeps saying like she needs to make sure.
Penfeld,
Elsa?
Penfriend, Elsa, Elsa?
Benfeld, yeah.
I don't think Elsa is with Rand, is she? No.
Who?
She was
I
with
can't remember.
Rand.
There was an Aes Sedai that wants to prove herself so badly.
Yeah.
Elsa, yeah.
Isn't
it
she
Elsa?
there?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know if she's
Maybe.
there, though,
Anyway.
but that's, I think, who we are talking about.
Okay. You go ahead.
Anyway, Moridin
Googling
moves
happening in the background.
and saying, hey, I'm moving on to the next point of this meeting. Can you please update me, all of you, with your standing at the moment? Graendal is not being grilled. It's only Demandred who's sitting there with his hook nose and Mesaana. But Demandred states that he's ready. His army is ready to move. He's ready for the plan. Mesaana's not having such good report back. Her plans in the tower isn't going 100% well. I think she underestimated the fool Elaida is in wrecking the things there.
It is Elsa Penfeld, by the way.
There we go.
Good one.
Moridin then dismisses Mesaana and Demandred, who then prompts their exit, and they bugger off. Graendal stays behind. She wasn't told to leave, so she goes on, gets up, and Moridin asks her if she enjoyed that, and that, there could be more of these special treatments. The Nameless may be off the cards, but there's still many levels below Nameless that need filling, and some of them are higher than others. Which should see her bring a lot of these meetings, and almost as he berated and belittled Demandred and Mesaana and their little alliance, triangular, trifold alliance, to show Graendal, you can be a little bit higher than that, fools. But yes, she takes note of that. Moridin then says, okay, so the one thing, though, is Rand must be kept alive, but if you can cause him pain of the heart, anguish, and frustration, you will be very well rewarded. And that's the end of that point of view.
Yes.
Yes.
Joseph, anything?
It's just always fun to see the Forsaken get together again. It's like, the gang's all alive. Well, some of you.
Not all alive at all. Not even close. Decimated.
Listen, I've got 2 points of view about Demandred and Mesaana arriving together and Graendal being like, amateurs. First of all, they had no idea she was going to be there. They were shocked. They thought they were going alone, and Moridin knows about them anyway. But they should still have been more careful anyway, just in case things didn't go to plan. So, amateurs.
Well, look, Moridin is also the one that summoned them. So Moridin could have, he's the one that had the gateways created through which the messengers came to summon them to this place, because none of the Forsaken presumably knew about this fortress that Moridin had set up in the Northern Blight, like Phil said. So Moridin could have had their 2 gateways come out in the same room, down the hallway, and Graendal's over here, specifically to show Graendal, yeah, look, these 2 are working together as you suspect. Like Moridin, I think, is serving them up on a platter to Graendal as this sort of like sweetener to sort of make her fall in line. But quite right.
That's just sort of like, just going there, like my first thought being that the Forsaken are being strategic and intelligent. It's not where my mind goes.
No.
It's like, they did this on purpose? Nah, can't be that.
Foolish fools.
Well, Moridin is strategic, but he's mad as a fucking hatter, so you never know what his intentions are.
Yeah. Sounds a bit like another world leader we know at the moment, right? Like just keep doing crazy shit and no one can kind of stand against you because they don't know where to duck and cover next. Opening a gateway with no warning could have been seen as rude in the Age of Legends. Remember, like someone made a little like a doorbell sound one time, and they were like, "Oh yeah, in the Age of Legends, the etiquette was that you would announce that a doorway is going to be created." But Moridin don't care. He'll cut an arm off a servant. Doesn't give a shit.
Chop that servant in half. What does he care?
Chop Moridin in half, or Graendal in half. Sorry, and he wouldn't care either. We get a glimpse in like what Graendal thinks that Sindain and Moridin are busy working on, which is rallying Dark Friends to kill Mat and Perrin. She thinks that's what they're spending most of their time on, which could possibly be true. There's
someone is.
Yes, and I mean there's another little bit coming up pretty soon that will lead me back to that point. Graendal thinks to herself, there are no armies left in the world for Demandred to command, but that's what he would have wanted. He would have wanted an army, except all of Shara, right? So like, good job, RJ and Brandon, on planting the seed in the reader's head, right? Like obfuscating the eventual Sharan force. Like here we have Graendal saying, oh, there aren't any armies left, hiding the fact that there's all of Shara with all of their stuff that's going to just make a surprise appearance at the end. Pretty cool. Mesaana still not forgiven for her failure, despite being punished personally by Shaidar Haran, but still no mind trap for her.
Yet.
Maybe
there's only 2 mind traps.
Yes.
He's used up the last 2 that exist. He would be. You're just lucky.
Demandred also showing his mettle here because he doesn't flinch from Moridin like Mesaana does. He just looks Moridin in the eye. And Graendal's like, yes, hard as stone, that one, like doesn't flinch even to Moridin. And I like them building up Demandred here, like as another like really badass bad guy, because in the final book, he certainly plays a huge role as like a massive antagonist to many of like our swordsmen, our challengers, or, channelers, sorry. Demandred is like schooling all of them, which is cool, with his crazy army of Sharan channelers and stuff as well. Very cool. But that is it for me on the Graendal point of view. So, Joe, if you will tell us, what is Rodel Ituralde up to?
He's up to no good. He's starting to make trouble in the neighborhood. So, he's got in one little fight. So, Rhodey is also sitting on his horse on a hill. Told you. Thinking about what his mother once told him. Things always have to get worse before they get better. Wow, imagine growing up with a mom like that. While watching 150,000 Seanchan march on the city of Darluna below him. He's hidden quite well, and also not wearing his uniform. Apparently, his uniform and everyone else's uniform was needed elsewhere. Strange. So they're wearing clothes that they bought off farmers and like just regular old brown stuff. So, oh wow, I read that wrong. He's been a busy boy, fucking up all the depots all over Elmouth Plain and Terrebonne. Hence the 150,000 strong army below. He's actually touched by that. It shows they respect him, that they are taking his threat seriously and not underestimating him. He would have done the exact same thing. So he's like, yeah, these guys know what they're doing. Thank God. Because they're falling right into my trap. He's using his looking glass to identify the 100 pairs of Suldam and Damane, among other regiments, and looking for some, and longing for some Rakan of his own. He thinks they are awesome. Can you imagine? He would trade 10,000 soldiers for one Rakan. But the Seanchan also think that Rakan are awesome, and they then rely on them too much, and he can take advantage of that reliance, which he has. The Seanchan are rushing below to secure that city, as it would be a great location to defend from and to strike out from, a strategic safe haven. He knows this because they knows this because he knows this. It's one of those games. And the Seanchan are rushing to take the city because their Rakan told them that his army was a 4-day march away and that they wanted to beat him to the punch. The army, those guys that looked like his army perhaps, dressed in his uniforms? Yes. But he knows that they know that he knows that they know. But what they don't know is that it's his army is not a 4-day march away. They are, in fact, already in the city. And those farmers they passed in the fields to get to the city, also his men, with crossbows. Now the gates open, and they are trapped between two forces. Adios, Seanchan. And we leave them there. We don't get to see the battle. Come on, Rodel.
You just know that it's been an ass whipping handed to them.
Yeah.
When farmers pulls out guns and pitchforks come out from
They've
underneath
got their
the bar.
bows. Well, they've got they're actual soldiers. They're not pitchforks at all. These are soldiers with like special ruts in the ground that they've got their bows and arrows and crossbows and their actual weapons in. They're just not wearing their uniforms, which is great.
So,
the line, Joe.
I don't know where he got like 20 or how many thousands, tens of thousands of people to wear uniforms and hang out 4 days and march away. Who are those people? And
spent a bunch of time like rallying them before he went south to.
And what if they get attacked? Just some random dudes wearing uniforms. Who are these guys in the uniforms?
The farmers?
Have to take. Was it the farmers? Did he just put a bunch of farmers in soldiers' uniforms 4 days away? And how's he going to be sure they're not going to be attacked and killed?
Well, he's keeping an eye.
It's just a price he's willing to pay.
On all these Seanchan. I mean, that's 4 days away, right?
Rodel. We are talking
it's
about.
Rodel. Well, we just got to see. Okay, it's Rodel, so everything was going to work out.
If Matt did it, you would go with it and say, Matt the wise. Matt the Lord.
I've spent 12
Matt
books getting to know Matt. I don't know this Rhodey guy. Who the fuck is he?
He's a great
have
captain.
You not heard all of the name drops with his name?
Yeah. Also, like he's watching this army, so like he's got scouts. He's monitoring their movements and stuff, you know. So like he is aware. And if they had to turn and like head towards his army of
what I'm saying is that there are more Seanchan armies in the land, you know, not just this one.
No.
He got them all to band together. Now he's leading the horde.
And they're not in Aradoman. Like this army came from Terrebonne and crossed the Elmouth Plain, chasing Rodel.
Yes.
And he had in the meantime set up all the stuff in the north already. When he was gathering the houses, when we read about him the first time, he was setting all of that.
He started that shit and started running, and they've started following.
Before he started the raids,
becoming like one snake, chasing him down.
Yeah.
All right.
The line about the Raken is, there was one problem with superior scouts like Raken. When you had access to a tool so useful, you tended to rely upon it, and reliance like that could be exploited. Yeah, Rodel.
Indeed.
That's cool shit. Yeah. All right, let's close the book on this prologue in the final POV, which is from Masema. Jody, tell us about what's happening with Masema.
Oh,
is he having a nice day?
He's living his best life. I'll tell you that much.
For the next 10 minutes.
He's
Masema.
craziest best minutes.
And what remains of his dragon sworn? Less than 100. Less than 100.
It's so good.
Scramble up the hill near Meldon after the battle. So we're back there now. This is just after the battle. So have we gone back in time? It hasn't been 2 weeks since the battle.
Now it jumps around.
He's jumping around a lot. So his fingernails are digging into the dirt as they scramble up this hill to get into this forest to find cover. He must have been betrayed by Dark Friends. They must have been. There's no way he could have lost.
It's the only
like
thing.
normally. The only reason. All his men were Dark Friends. Because, and I mean, there's no other way he could have lost, because the Dragon Reborn himself had appeared to him the night before, glowing, and told him to kill Perrin. So, logic? Yes. We were just talking about this 5 seconds ago.
Exactly.
The Forsaken working on sending messages to kill. So I wonder who this was, because I first thought it was Moridin, but I don't think he would lower himself. And also, the Forsaken can appear if they're females as males or whatever.
Exactly.
Mirrors.
That's why I mentioned it earlier.
Anyone.
I think it's either Sindane or Moridin.
Yeah, so one of them appeared to him pretending to be Rand, telling him, hey man, we've got your back. Go kill Perrin, and then you'll win this battle. But, yeah, apparently that didn't work out too well. He's got big plans, Masema that is, to get back to Elmouth Plain, because that's where all the Dragonsworn are. I don't think they're there anymore, mate. There's a whole lot going on that plain. Things have changed since you were last there. But he knows there are tons of Dragonsworn there, just waiting for him to arrive. They're just begging for him to be there so they can swear their allegiance to him and join him, and he'll just rebuild his army like that. Wait, let me do it in the microphone. Like that. They push through the dense forest and the undergrowth that's cutting into their flesh and scraping their shins, and they soon find themselves in a little clearing where a little Saldaean woman is waiting for them. Hello, dickface, says Faile. Masema doesn't have time for this shit, so he orders his men to attack. But only a few obey him because the others are Dark Friends, remember? Or because they saw what he didn't. More archers and all kinds of people hiding in the trees. And the archers make quick work of his men, putting an arrow into his shoulder at the same time. But Faile reserves the right to kill him herself. She slides her dagger out and stabs it into his heart. And the last thing he hears is her telling her Char Faile that Perrin must never hear of this. A dark thing has been done today, and that sometimes a wife must do what her husband cannot. Goodbye, the end. Time for some chapters. The ones that Villy forgot to prepare.
Did you have anything you wanted to say, Vil, about Masema's demise?
Well, it took a long time to eventually get to it, but the deed has been done. I don't know why Perrin shouldn't know. He'll probably want to do the right thing.
Interesting that it's like left for like a new book.
It's a cliffhanger from the last one.
Sort of, and then just like dealt with summarily in the next one.
It's the shortest point of view.
Yeah. Quick
The
work.
end. Goodbye. Knife in the chest.
It's very good. It just ties a beautiful little ribbon around it now.
He starts thinking about his dad, and when he became a soldier, and when he became a man, and he got his sword, and then as he dies, he thinks, did I do well, Daddy? Like, what the fuck is that all about?
Yeah, we don't care. Brandon,
No.
we don't care.
He was mad.
I mean, clearly. Yeah.
Oh. Or maybe this was his sanity returning in his last days, because he thinks about his dad, and where his dad have been proud of him.
Maybe.
We all
I
want
don't
our
think
dads
so,
to be proud
Jody.
of us.
I think if you're that far down the rabbit hole, you never get out that hole again.
This is a dark friend speaking.
He thinks he can rock up on the Elmouth Plain and just like gather up all the Dragonsworn there. I think he knows that there are loads of Dragonsworn there because when they were camped in those mountains near the Elmouth Plain after the events of Faile, Rand was talking about it a lot, right? Like there are all these people out there proclaiming for the dragon, and I need to go down there and like, you know, set the record straight or like rally them or do something. People are dying in my name and I'm just sitting here in the mountains doing nothing. That's what like a big point of contention between him and Moraine was at the time. And Masema was up there, right? Like he was with the Shanaran soldiers that camped up there with him. So those Dragonsworn are some of the people that are fighting with Rodel Ituralde. Like, remember, there were a bunch of Dragonsworn in that area that Rodel had to sort of pull in with the remaining nobles left over in Aradoman to sort of like build this alliance, to gather enough troops to build this army, which is now dealing the Seanchan a fatal blow. So Masema, done. Faile, keeping secrets from your husband, no bueno.
This is the Saldean way. I'm telling you, these borderland women.
Oh, it just chafes.
Look at
every time I read it.
Aviendha, she was also just like, hey man, listen to what we're doing. I'll tell you what we're doing. Back your shit, we're going.
We're going. All right. Well, that is it for the prologue. Now we've got 4 more chapters to do, which is very exciting. The first chapter is called Tears from Steel. Please steel yourself, Vil, and give us a recap.
I will steel myself with this impromptu, unprepared for recap that I will read notes from a book from. All right, we are on the point of view of the wind. Chapter 1, wind point of view, best point of view. We're doing a tour, the marvelous city of Tarvalon and all of its towering marvels and hand-worked gates and all those wonderful things that the Ogier have done in that city. But at a closer look, you'll see that even the wind picked up. It's quite fouled. The place is stinking. There's shit in the streets. There's rats. Wow, a city under siege is not a pretty sight. The wind then blows around and sees workmen and sisters all were wielding axe and wielding power, demolishing the harbour stoneworks to free a Quindiar chain, which has been busting shit up a bit. Over the wall, the wind flows, and over the archer's shoulder of men who's ready to defend the city, resolute in protecting what is not and what have never fallen, not even in Hawkwing's days. Wind blows and finds the rebel army camp of 50,000 strong, with the inner perimeter that's now a man-free zone with just sisters, and there's children who are old, but they're all in control. Then Wind finds Egwene Alvia has been captured, even though, or finds they're all under control, even though she has been captured. Wind passes through that camp, flicks some skirts on the way, and some heels, heads over the Black Hills. Spring should have arrived by now, but not. Wind finds it's pretty cold up there. Wind observes that it was a pretty rough winter. It's bare. The barley should have sprouted. It has not. Wind is now in Aradoman, and something slams against Wind, and Wind is not getting to have its blow like it wanted to, and it gets pushed all the way back, all the way down to a manor house where Randall Thor stood with a stumpy arm, and he's all steel. And we go over to the point of view of that very stumpy-armed man, Randall Thor. We are at the manor house now in Aradoman. The wind smells off. It almost smells rotten to Rand. Min is there with him. Rand is observing the land and points out that the wind is doing some strange business on that end. The one lot is blowing this way, and the needles of the trees blowing that way. But his eyesight's not great. In fact, his eyesight's much like my own today. Blurry.
Was he also poked in the eye by a stick?
I think that he was poked in the eye by a stick in that event. That's probably what happened. He caught some
that
shrapnel
fireball
in the eye.
did nothing. It was a stick.
No. He sees Bashir's there. He's with the army. They are set up in large, neat lines, tents. And they have also noticed the wind. The need is great at the moment. The need for men who can fight. It's the only feeling that Rand has in him. But Min being there in his mind and by his side is him also being reminded of this constant concern that is with him. Like, there's a lot of concern in him for Rand. Like, they've learned a lot of things about him, and evidently he's, I think, taking a bit of strain, old Rand man.
A bit.
Just a slight
The
bit.
weight of responsibility weighing on him a little.
Yeah, but
Like
also
a
speaking about Rand, you must include all of the people that live in his head rent-free, like Luce, who's still there. And he's having a rather quiet, subdued day, whimpering a bit about Elaida in the corner, and then delivers Rand a monologue about Semirhage and how hardcore she was and all the hardcore shit she did back in the day. Rand will not even entertain the thought of torture of Semirhage, speaking of her, because she's now been captive for what, a week that they've been there, and the Aes Sedai, Catswain, and Nynaeve, and Olivia, those lot. That's all. They are all pretty keen to try some different tactics of extracting information, but Rand doesn't want to allow it because of his own little inner conflicts about women. Rand reaches out to the laughing and at the end sobbing Luz, and asks him if he feels like, chat, tell me more about the plan, what went wrong. But no, Luz is not having any of it. He'll do it at his terms. Now, just a quick reminder.
After Luz mentioned to Rand that the woman wouldn't help him.
Yes, the woman that wouldn't help him during the original trap that was being set.
Well, the woman didn't want to strike at the boar at all. This was Latra Pose de Cume, right? The Amelin seat, and Luz was the Tamerlane, and the men, the 100 companions, raced off to the boar and tried to strike at the boar, and then got lashed out and driven insane, and Sidene was tainted. The woman's plan was to use the Kuten Kal to contain the boar. They developed, it was Latra Pose de Cume and the woman that made the Kuten Kal for specifically. That was their plan, and between the men and the woman, they couldn't decide
the
which was the plan to follow.
The words was that Lewis used at that time. Lewis was hold my beer and watch us. And then they went.
It's a blessing in disguise. The woman didn't help because either Sidar would also have been tainted, or all hope would have been lost.
Yeah, well, they would have just lost their right there.
Or it would have worked.
Yeah. Or it would have worked. Who knows? Anyway, Rand, back to him, that madman. He inspects the men who's checking the horses, and he thinks about all that vice that he got in that doorway terrangrial back in the day, about bringing everyone together from the Finns, north and south, east and west. He's going to have to force everyone into a peace, he thinks to himself. All of this brings thoughts of Elaine, distant and far to the east, and she feeling relieved at this stage. Can we assume she's relieved because of winning the throne, sacking the city, or being rescued at that point in time? But one of those good things. Which brings his brain to the Borderlanders. Why did they leave, and why are they there? And there's a lot of unknowns with this Borderlanders. Take the time to maybe talk to them, because they're looking for you, Rand. They're marching the whole world flat looking for you. Anyway, how to bring peace. But he's got two clear goals for now. Peace with the Seanchan and peace in Aradoman. Below, 8,000 soldiers and Ashaman are digging trenches. There's 10 Ashaman in the camp with Rand. The Saldaeans don't like camping in the woodlands. They're very unhappy about it. Horse can't charge through woodland. They're more sort of the open land fighters. But Bashir is down there. He's shouting commands. Now, Bashir is still doing walkabout. And I refer here to his queen not really knowing what, and being one-to-one with these plans. And Rand's realizing, I'm getting this man into a lot of trouble, I think, with me playing Taviran with his soul, but he doesn't quite have the approval of his monarch about him just hanging out with the army. with Rand. Graendal is an Aradamon, Rand believes, and he tells this to Min, and wondering if they'll have an encounter with her. You should be careful, And with that, there's footsteps, and already talking about one of the Forsaken. Rand is already grabs Min, spins around, and grabs for a sword with her hand that's no longer there. He's gonna have to learn, missing hand and all. But it's only Quad Swain in a green dress with Nynaeve and Olivia, and actually Olivia surprising Rand that she's there, that she's actually being involved in this. But I think it's just so that Nynaeve can keep an eye on her. It's easier just to keep her with you if you need to watch her the whole time than anything else. Min stiffens at the sight of Olivia, for reasons again being explained, the foretelling and all of the rest, that she's complicit in the death of Rand. Rand asks them if they've learned anything, but Cat Swain has a face of, it's not going to change because he is not allowing them.
That face.
Yes, that face. But it's going fantastic. We are really, it's going well enough is the exact words, but it's not going well at all. Cat Swain likens torture to an art, and Rand is not best pleased with her likening torture to art, even if it's discussing Semirhage, who's one of the chosen. Rand still wouldn't allow it. Cat Swain reminds him that he is a dumbass and that his plan is not going to work and they're not going to get any information. So why don't they just hand her over to the tower? And then Rand's like, oh, to which tower? The White Tower or the Rebel Tower? And I'll take it to Egwene, and then Egwene will just make me kneel and put me in a box. And when the mention of the box, then Lewis goes off like a hyena in his head, and it's just fucking chaos around Rand. Yes. Rand is being reminded by Lewis, you can't trust any Aes Sedai. The plan, they went there, and I think this is where that all pops up. Anyway, all eyes is on him now, because in this Lewis incident, he actually spoke out loud, like explained what didn't the woman do? What didn't they do? And everyone in the room is like crickets, like checking for dirt under their fingernails, and he gets a sad feeling from Min that he has gone crazy. Old Lewis, light, there's no time to weep. There's no time to weep from Rand, because he also thinks that Lewis does enough of that for the two of them. And it is time to end this chapter there.
All right. Joseph, what have you got?
My mother recently adopted a three-legged cat. I think all you should know that. And she's telling me stories about this three-legged cat that'd be sleeping and then just jump up and start biting at its leg that's missing. And I thought the whole time, just like Rand. Phantom limb syndrome. Yes, reaching for your sword that isn't there. It's going to start itching later on as well. He's going to want to scratch it, but it's not going to be there.
Maybe the cat's having nightmares of the event that ripped his foot off.
Perhaps, maybe. But she says like he'll lie there and you'll just start like scratching at it, like and there's nothing there to scratch. So yeah, I feel sorry for what's coming for old Rand, and the poor cat as well. Fuck the cat, and the cat as well. Feel sorry for the poor kitty. There you go. That's what I have to add to this chapter. Three-legged cat.
Excellent. Your mom's three-legged cat. Cool.
Exactly. Anything from you, Martz?
Well,
Two-legged
surprise. I have a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about. One of them is that there is mention here that during the Trolloc Wars, the White Tower itself was actually damaged. So like the Shining Walls had never been breached. But actually, no, during the Trolloc Wars, they were. Apparently during the Trolloc Wars as well, Shara and the Aiel Waste and Seanchan, not Seanchan, the Waste and Shara also had attacks from the Blight, like also Trollocs like poured in there, and all the clans in the West, so no one knows what happened in Shara. Obviously they won, The Trollocs were driven back. But in the west, all the clans sort of banded together and drove the Trollocs back into the Blight. And it's because of that, since the Trolloc Wars, that the Trollocs call the Aiel Waste the Dying Grounds.
Yeah.
That's cool. The little village that the wind blows past is the village of Aviendha. It is the one that Moraine and Swan travel through when they start collecting names in New Spring. They go that way through that town. It's full of white cloaks. And Min also travels through there. When she leaves Moraine and she goes to the tower to be Elmindrada for a while, she travels through Aviendha. Cool reminder here, the rebel Aes Sedai army, 50,000 troops. It's not bad. I was surprised that it seems like Aradoman can muster a force of like well over, was like 200,000. The Seanchan army is 150,000, and they are outnumbered by the forces ahead and behind them. That's General Turan's force that was sent after Rodel Ituralde. So 50,000, nothing to sneeze at when trying to like pick soldiers out of already, countries, Altara and like the countries around there, right? Like where, they were basing themselves, and Gareth Bryan started an army. So he's done pretty well to build a force that big. Cool that we see, okay, Rand is in Aradoman now, not in Tyr anymore. We heard Elaine sort of comment on his movement, like from far to the east to suddenly north and to the west. It's probably him traveling to Aradoman, with her sitting slap bang in the middle in Camelin. What is up with Rand's eyes? Dude can't see. It's like looking through water. He says it's getting better, but slowly.
Yeah,
Well, we were talking about that last time. The fireball that exploded in his face from Semirhage.
But is it significant? Like,
I wonder. I mean, did we notice anything about Moridin's eyes?
No, Moridin was flicking
in his
about
chapter.
the
He never
hand.
said anything. Yeah,
we
but
need a
just the
POV
hand.
from him. Yeah. Anyway,
As far as
just
I know, it's
interesting.
still fireball eye syndrome.
Yes, yeah, it's from that. I was just like, why are they making such a big deal about this? It's the second time it's come up now. Like, okay, cool. Anyway,
But it is Rand's POV, right? So from his point of view, his
literal
sight
yes,
would be
yes, in his
top
field
of the
view.
list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rand thinks to himself that Asmodean probably gave away a lot of Rand's secrets, and he never knew why the guy disappeared at all. But did he actually spill any of Rand's secrets? Because it was at the end of Fires of Heaven, after Asmodean had been killed by Ravine and then unkilled by Rand bale-firing Ravine, when Asmodean thinks about how like he can now feel time pulling at him, like he doesn't have the immortality anymore, and he's turned his back on the shadows. And like, what's gonna? And it's like when he's having these thoughts that he opens up a pantry or something, and his killer is there, and it's Graendal. Like he's killed immediately after that. So he never had much time to like divulge any of Rand's stuff, and he was afraid of the agents of the Shadow because he had basically betrayed the Shadow as well by helping Rand. So I don't think that Asmodean had actually divulged any secrets.
No.
Graendal killed him instantly, right? Like he was like, "Oh, it's you." Dead. And that was it. End of story. End of Asmodean. It's cool how Rand and Luz sort of accurately deduce where Graendal would be and what she'd be doing. She'd have like a secluded fortress somewhere in Aradoman. The chaos just seems like Graendal's work and everything, and it's 100 spot on. That's exactly what's happened. Rand thinks that Cadsuane's ageless face is due to working with the power for a long time. But Luz should know about binding rods and their effect on people, right? So Luz knows where the ageless face comes from. It's not from working with the power. It's from the Oath Rod. So I wonder if Luz ever spills that one.
but Luz isn't a reliable source of
No,
information.
and it's not
You can't just
exactly
ask it a straight
free-flowing
question.
as is evidenced right here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm surprised neither of you brought this up. Rand is wearing a centuries-old scabbard and sword.
Oh,
And on the scabbard, these twisting dragons. And the most interesting part is that Rand immediately recognized it, but not from Luz's memories, from his own.
the sinuous dragon etched on it. Yeah,
Sword, where's the sword from?
from his own memories. Is that
From Rand's memories.
To wrap.
He states it explicitly in here. It's not from a Luz memory. It's Rand's very own memories that he remembers the sword. But it's centuries old. And it's just been uncovered. And they brought it to him immediately and they gave it to him. And now he wears it. But he recognizes it.
maybe he saw it in one of his books. He did a lot of reading there in Tyr, remember?
I mean, I obviously know the answer. That's why I'm playing coy here.
Oh, stop playing coy then, Boris. Get to the point.
It is Arthur Hawkwing's sword Justice.
Dun, dun, dun. So he saw it in
At Faile.
Faile. Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
That is fucking cool.
Now, why would Arthur Hawkwing have a sword with dragons on the scabbard?
Do you know? Are you playing coy again with us, Morris?
Yes, correct. Well, actually, this one I'm less certain because this is a theory. Because people also ask, like, okay, so why would Arthur Hawkwing have a sword with dragons on it? But Arthur Hawkwing famously is the one that defeated Gwyr Amalasan, one of the most powerful false dragons, and people think he took it off him. He killed him and took his sword.
But this is just a rabbit hole. Like, now, how did Gwyr know what a dragon looked like?
Well, he was calling himself the dragon.
Yeah, but that was just what they heard. They knew a name. They didn't know what a dragon was. Or maybe back then they did know what a dragon was, because now in this time they don't know what a dragon is.
Yeah, it's like centuries, right? I'll have to go look at the timeline, but Arthur Hawkwing was 3,000 years since the breaking. Arthur Hawkwing, I think, is about 1,000 years before this, before the events of this story. I think. Let's see how correct I am in next time on Blood and Ashes.
Let's see. I look forward.
But it was
to
cool. Like when I read about the sword, I was like, "What the fuck is the sword?" And then to like read it, it's got a name, you know, and it was Arthur Hawkwing's, and Rand recognizes it from Faile, and that was fucking cool. I'm stoked he's got this power wrought blade as well.
I wonder if the next time that they blow the horn, or Arthur Hawkwing sees him, it's like, hey, snap.
They do say that in Memory of Light, there are 2 instances of it because Rand gives this sword to Tam and Arthur Hawkwing is summoned and also has his blade. So there are 2 instances of justice in that battle.
Rand might be missing a hand. What stops him from channeling a hand of air to hold on to a sword?
A mage hand.
Yeah, mage hand. Yeah.
Some D&D nerds might call it a mage hand. I mean, nothing.
It's like he should be a hand of flame if you're going on like his previous channeling objects into existence.
That would be cool.
Big flaming hand, just walking around all day with a flaming hand.
But the flame might burn the actual sword, you know, like holding onto the sword.
But I mean, would it be as nimble and dexterous? Would you have like the muscle memory of like, you know, finger adjustments and weight adjustment and that sort of thing? I mean, that'd be a lot of head concentrating on flows to simulate finger movements and stuff. Don't know.
So it's a spell that requires concentration, you say? Okay. For 1 hour at a time, max.
1 hour is
all the D&D nerds. Yes. And then also just the end of that chapter, like Rand thinks about like the ridiculousness of what they're doing, and he tries to laugh, but he can't. He's incapable of summoning humor at this point, and that is like, you know, Catswain's whole deal, according to Min. Like, she is supposed to teach Rand how to laugh again. So here we see Rand, Dark Rand, in the pits of in the depths of his despair, unable to laugh.
I disagree with most of what Catswain says, and just with the concept of Catswain in general. But I agree with her. They should be torturing the shit out of Semirhage. I think Rand is missing something.
That's his fatal flaw. That's his whole thing. It's his whole shtick.
Yes. Even Semirhage, Rand? Come on, man.
I know. He's taking the high road, Joe. He's taking the moral high road. I will not stoop.
Imagine the good guy, savior of the world, taking the high road.
Anyway, speaking of taking the high road, in chapter 2, this chapter is called The Nature of Pain. Joe, what is the nature of this chapter?
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you something. This chapter took me a god-awful long time to summarize. I could have just basically just sat here and read the chapter to you guys. Because I was thinking, I can skip over this. No, you can't. Every paragraph, you have to say something about.
Mm-hmm.
See, Philly's already crying. He knows
That's
what's
a good
coming.
thing. Dense with information, right? Like,
and still, I left so much stuff out that we'll recap at the end. Moritz, you've taken notes. Keep track.
Mm-hmm.
Egwene, baby. We're with Egwene. Or Egwene, depending on how you want to pronounce it. We join her post-bottom spanking, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Only one tear in each eye this time. And not because the beatings are getting lighter, they are in fact getting more severe. She's just getting the hang of this pain thing.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that the Aiel can even laugh during the most heinous of tortures. She's not there yet, but her resolve is only growing. Egwene is looking in the stand mirror after her beating in Sylviana's office and fixing herself and dabbing her little 2 tears off her face and fixing her hair, getting ready to leave. And she could see Sylviana in the reflection staring at the strap in her hands with confusion. Like, strap used to make pain, not make pain anymore? Sylviana implores Egwene to give it up. Like, we're gonna break you eventually. You don't need to go through all this pain. You've made your point very admirably. Mm-hmm. And it's just a matter of time. Proper order must be maintained. Egwene's like, can't hold her cheeky little tongue. Proper order, you say? Like in the rest of the tower. Sylviana just responds by jotting down her name again in her ledger for another beating tomorrow morning. The morning beating is because Egwene didn't say Sedai after saying Sylviana, and also because they both know that she's not going to curtsy on her way out. No. Even if she had said Sedai, she doesn't. Yeah. We'll just write it down, right? Who are we kidding? So she won't curtsy, and then of course she doesn't when she leaves. Dinner has to wait because she has been summoned to attend Elaida. Sylviana puts her name down again for calling the Amyrlin just Elaida, and for whatever other shit she's 100% going to get up to tonight in Elaida's company. In the hallway, Katarine and Barricine approach her for her daily dose of fork root. Egwene sculls it and hands the cup back with a dismissive gesture. Take my cup, servant. She's like, this reminded me of that scene in Super Troopers where the 2 police chiefs are meeting. Mm-hmm. And John takes a sip of his coffee and puts it down next to the coaster on the police chief's table and just looks at him and looks at the cup. And he's like, oh God, fine, picks it up and puts it in the coaster. Same vibe.
Yeah.
She hangs around a little bit to kill some time. Wouldn't want to arrive early and show any deference to Elaida. And she also wants to see if her old beating buddy, Elviarin, will show up for her beating tonight. Mm-hmm. While they're waiting, they see sisters walking up and down the halls in small groups, their shawls on, Arja's keeping to themselves, whispering in little groups. Egwene turns to Katarine, a red, and says, are you happy with what you see? Look at the tower. Look at what's happening. How centuries have passed since the last Amyrlin from the Red Arja was raised. And now you finally have one. And this is what she's doing to the tower. Do you see what's happening? Are you happy with this? Of course, Katarine blames all this troubles on her rebels. Mm-hmm. And Egwene's like, my rebels, you say. Mm-hmm. But Egwene reminds her that it wasn't them who pulled down a sitting Amyrlin swan. It was not the rebels who turned warders against warders, or who failed to contain the dragon reborn. It's Elaida who's building herself a palace on the grounds. Mm-hmm. Who's stripping sisters of their shawls on her for her own whims. Well, technically it's been one sister so far. Mm. And she says to her eventually, remember, Elaida's legacy will be the Red's legacy. Mm-hmm. You guys are going to have to live with this. I have a lot to say on current political climate regarding this part, but we'll leave it.
Of course, to Katarine, that is irrelevant because she's Black Arja.
Yeah, so, I mean, This comes back later on about what Egwene's plan is in the tower and how it changes. But Katarine's had enough. She doesn't give a shit, as you say, and orders her to another beating tonight for not showing any respect to them and calling Aes Sedai by their names. And Egwene's like, cool, I've already made that appointment. I'll be back later. And as right that moment, the door snaps shut behind her, and she turns around because she had literally, honest to God's truth, unintentionally left the door ajar. And had Sylviana just listened to all of that? Yes, she did. Because if you remember, Sylviana is also from the Red Aja. So it did fall on the right ears, unintentionally.
Yeah.
Seems like her beating buddy is not coming tonight, so she heads off to Elaida's study with her 2 honor guards escorting her. Of course, they get lost along the way, always changing and all of that. And now she even sees paintings change. So what depicted on the painting has changed.
Yeah.
And that's like, whoa, Dark One is stirring for sure. If you had any doubts before. She's got to rush. She's got to make the tower whole soon. Like, her time frame is moving up. She's running out of time. She's got to get going. They get there eventually to Elaida's study. And with all the shit that she's been seeing and been thinking about Elaida and all on her walk up, she's already pissed. She's fuming inside. But she must control herself, or she will be sent to the black cells where she can't influence anyone or anything. She can't piss Elaida off. She will even bow to Elaida if she must, she thinks to herself. She can only win tonight if Elaida thinks there is no battle between them. So that's her plan of action tonight. Just be subservient for just this 1 hour or whatever you need to serve them, and then get out of there. Well, she doesn't know it's them yet. Because she knocks on the door, and it's Maidani who answers the door. Now, Egwene doesn't know her face. She knows who Maidani is by name, but doesn't know what she looks like. But she does recognize her when Elaida says it. She's like, oh, shit, it's Maidani. So inside the rooms are extravagant, to say the least. And this is not even where she lives. Like, she's got her apartments where she lives, and the new palace, which she's adding things to every single day, whatever pops into her brain. So that construction will never be completed. Of course, she doesn't curtsy, but after Elaida points it out, she bows her head. Like, she has to force it down, just a smidge. Elaida is already fooled. She's like, I heard that you were a stubborn handful, and, people have been speaking about you so much, and look at you. You're already cowed, all quiet and dismissive. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, fuck
Demure.
Yeah, we'll use that word, demure. She says, it seems like Sylviana is doing her job very well. Like, she's
submissive.
Submissive, that's it. It came to us. Well, you.
It did.
So, like, I think it's both Egwene and Elaida have this one thing in common, is that they both respect Sylviana. Like, even though she's getting a beating from her, she respects her from doing her duty. And now Elaida's also like, all right, so Sylviana's the only one in this whole tower that's doing her duty. Maidani is terrified. You can see the terror on her face. And Egwene realizes during the conversation at the table, Elaida's asking her questions about the spies, and well, not about the spies, about the Saladar people and the rebels. And during that conversation, it dawns on Egwene that Elaida knows who Maidani is, and that she is a spy, and that she's dining with her anyway. Like, is she just playing with her? Like, she's wondering, what's your game,
she
woman?
knew that Björn had betrayed Maidani. So she knew that Elaida knew who the spies were.
Well, when I read this book, it seemed that it dawned on her that she knew.
I think what dawned on her is that, oh, this is Maidani.
I'll have to get back to you on that one. I spent a lot of time in this chapter. It lives in my brain.
Okay.
But I may have got that wrong. So Egwene is ordered to serve them. And when not bringing food to the table, she stands against the wall, hands folded. But inside, she is losing it. She's listening to this conversation. She's seen what's happening in the tower. She's actually in Elaida's presence after all this time, getting to know this woman and this fucking arrogant, sorry excuse for an Amyrlin. And Elaida is teasing Maidani at the table by threatening to take her shawl. And this is like, Egwene's just like, fuck you. That's not something to joke about.
And she realizes that power has made this woman mad. Elaida, that is. Not that needed clarification. She used to be stern, for sure, because we read that from the beginning in New Spring. But now she's tyrannical. So Maidani tells Elaida about the Seanchan rumors. Like, she's like, Elaida's like, what are the people talking about? What are the sisters and what's the rumors going around, you know? And I was like, people are worried about the Seanchan. But Elaida's like, fuck the Seanchan. She dismisses them offhand. She thinks the Seanchan are greatly overrated. Egwene wonders how overrated she'll think they are when they snap an Adam on her neck. A little bit of foreshadowing there, you say. It's the only way she'll learn. Elaida seems to think the Seanchan are not the problem. You know what the problem is? Disobedient Aes Sedai. She has a lack of loyalists amongst her. If only everyone would just obey her, everything would be okay. She toys with the idea, semi-seriously, about adding a fourth oath of obedience. Now Egwene is pissed. She took a really long time to wrap her head around these 3 oaths, and now she's fully invested in understanding how the 3 oaths make the Aes Sedai. Like when she was younger, she didn't know. Now she knows. And we see this with Nynaeve as well. Elaine, not so much. She bends rules. But yeah, we understand now as a reader as well how important these 3 oaths are. And Egwene is like, this is the last straw. She wants to rip Elaida's head off right then and there. But she knows, obviously, that can't be done. So what she can do is just tip the bowl of soup that she's holding onto the floor. She's got to do something. She can't keep it all in. Elaida jumps up from her table as the spillage leaks over her fancy rugs that are worth more than her entire village. You stupid idiot. She's shouting at her. She orders Maidani to get on her knees and help clean up as she walks off, which gives Maidani and Egwene a little time to have a chit-chat, which I thought was a bit too much time. Surely Elaida would have noticed them chit-chatting, would have had something to say with it. But anyway, a lot of information is expressed. A lot of words are exchanged. But basically, while they're down there, Egwene sees a chance to pass on a sneaky message saying, send for me. Like, we need to speak. So you're an Aes Sedai. You can send for me to do lessons, and then we can have a chit-chat. Maidani has the fucking nerve to call Egwene child and say, you can't order me around. Remember who I am and who you are. And she's like, bitch, please, I am your Amyrlin. You better remember that. And then mellows her tone a bit to give Maidani some hope. She's like, listen, we will prevail. Elaida will be brought down. All right? You will be free of this at some point.
Remember, the
Maidani's
ferrets
just
were
blown.
sent from Saladar before Egwene was raised, or even, I think, arrived.
All right. But she should know. So she wasn't in there, in the hall, in the tent, seeing this, how she became it. Okay.
May have never actually left the tower, some of them. Like, it was during the split, the Saladar leaders maybe sent from Saladar or sent word to some of them, but they had some people stay behind in the tower and not actually.
A lot of them had left the tower, but never, they were just wandering around. And a lot of sisters went back to the tower and joined Elaida.
Yeah.
And
hence why Egwene didn't know it was Maidani that was in the room.
She'd never seen her.
She'd never met her,
Okay. All the puzzle pieces falling into place. This is why we do this. Maidani asks her how she does it. Like, how do you tolerate this all? How can you endure this treatment? And she replies, I endure it because I must. I'm like, yes, mother.
Yes.
Yes, mother.
Elaida shouts at her to leave, to Egwene that is, and to go to Sylviana to get beaten like no one has ever been beaten before, then healed and then beaten again. So she heads to the dining hall for dinner. Fuck you, I'm going for dinner. Elaida didn't say she had to go to Sylviana's right now. She just said she had to go. So while eating her soup, the same heavily peppered soup she threw on the floor upstairs, she realizes that her plan to undermine Elaida from within the tower isn't actually necessary. That psycho is going to undermine herself. She is undermining herself. She's breaking all relationships. Like, she doesn't have to do anything. What she realizes that her duty is now is that to hold the tower together, to unite the sisters inside the tower, to get people behind her, and just ignore Elaida. Eventually, she's going to fall, and she's going to make herself fall.
Yeah.
So when that happens, the tower needs to be united. She washes her own dishes, earning a nod of approval from Loris. Loris as well, up there with Bunt and the horses, Pips and Bella. She still wanted to visit Leanne that night, so she needed to get the beating over with quickly. Wash your dishes, get a quick beating, and then carry on with my life. So she heads to Sylviana's office. On her way in, as she enters, she catches Sylviana closing a book with the title something about the rise of previous Amerlins. And she's like, hey, why are you reading that, Sylvie? But keeps that to herself. Egwene explains what happened, why she was sent here. You know, the redacted version. But she does point out that she was sent here after dropping the soup, which she only dropped because Elaida mentioned adding an oath of obedience. That shocked her, and she dropped the soup. She's super sorry. Sylviana listens to her and then says, well, this is not going to get you out of your beating. Like, I have a duty. You're going to get beaten. The Amerlin has spoken, to which Egwene replies, yes, I have. And then presents herself for her strapping. Just bends over, lifts up her skirts. Have at it, woman. After what happened tonight, the pain of the beating seems ridiculous in comparison to the pain that she feels from Elaida's actions. It's so ridiculous that she begins to laugh in disbelief, with incredulity. How could they think that beating her will change anything? Sylviana hears the laughing and stops, thinking that Egwene has finally snapped. Like, you've lost your mind. But she tells her that, no, it's cool. It's just because, can you not see how beating me is absurd? Can you not feel it also? The pain of watching the tower crumble around you. In comparison, can you see how stupid it is to beat me? I will not submit. You can beat me all you want. It will not change who I am. The beating continues, but all she can feel now is impatience. Let it end. I have work to do. That's how it ends.
Legend.
The chapter.
The chapter, not the beating.
Dude, again. I'm going to make a wild prediction that favorite moments may be coming from this chapter. Spoilers. Definitely from Moritz. I can see how invested he was during this recap.
I mean, look, I don't want to be Mr. Obvious all the time, so I'm going to try and spread it around a little bit.
You don't have to. Just follow your heart.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Willem, can you follow your heart and tell us what you felt about this chapter?
Egwene is kicking ass and taking names. We're still on that same old tangent, which I think it speaks to me to a greater continuation of where we were at. Like, it feels like it doesn't feel like a new kickoff. It just feels like we are well and truly in this home run stage now. It's just like we're there. It's just like one flowing into the other. There's no setup. It's just events leading into events now. It's the end of the line.
Yeah. Oh,
now,
the conclusion is going to be so
about
good.
Brandon Sanderson's style and interpreting characters, Egwene, spot on. I mean, I feel.
Yeah, nothing stood out here for me at all. I feel like RJ could have written that.
Yeah.
If potentially might have.
Might actually have, yeah. There were some chapters that he had written.
Maybe this was one of his chapters and we were like, oh, maybe. That's why.
I love how Egwene is the second time she's done it that we've read about, where she hands the cup back to Catherine in such a way that, like, Catherine has no choice but to take it before she realizes what's happening. It's so good.
It's like Catherine's become a cup bearer now. And that's it's fair. The tea's a bit stronger tonight. They don't want to take chances with Elaida. Yeah.
She has only been in the tower for 9 days. It's been a short time.
It seems that, you're right. But I think, like, with this chapter as well, we get such a clear understanding of what's happening inside the tower. It's so obvious, the decay, that it doesn't take a lot. No.
It's like what Willie's saying. There's not a lot of downtime yet. It's like, it's just a logical progression of everything. Like, it would happen in a couple of days. All this stuff would go down.
Egwene doesn't have to convince anybody. She just goes, look, is this okay? Are you cool with this?
Yeah.
Seriously?
and 9 days of getting beaten every day, people would be like, holy shit, this chick is badass. How does she do it? Because this is fucking futile. She retains Sylviana as her mistress of novices. When she rejoins the whole tower and everyone's back together again, she's like, you did a great job, you mistress of novices.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. I think she says it as like, there's a point in this chapter where she's like, she understands that she does her duty. She's stern but fair.
Yeah,
like she's not beating her out of pleasure.
Very cool. What did cause Alviarin's delay? Because later, when she's heading up to the room, she spots a furtive sort of Alviarin heading down towards Sylviana's study, obviously late for her scheduled beating. What I'm hoping is it's more punishment and beatings from Mesaana.
I thought it was Shida Horan, like
or Shida
one
Horan,
of those two.
Anyone.
Yeah,
I'll take any of them.
Someone's popping into her rooms to smack her
Cannot
about.
have enough punishment for Alviarin.
Oh, maybe she just got an upset tummy. Like, it doesn't always have to be punishment, and just got stuck in the privy for a bit
Stuck
longer.
on the latrine.
Yeah, I mean, food spoiling and all. You can imagine there's been a lot more people spending time on the latrine.
Speaking of food, there's some science here that I need you guys to help me figure out.
Okay, that's me.
Apparently, the hot food under the cover of like the cloche or whatever they've used to cover this food, the hot food is making condensation all over it. That's not how condensation works, right?
Maybe they meant condensation on the inside.
On the inside of the cloth.
But how would Egwene see that?
Maybe it's a
She's
glass
looking at the
cloche.
food presented on the. She was looking at the food.
How many times have you lifted a
displayed on
pot
table?
lid and then the water runs off down your arm and all over this?
Of course, on the inside, yes, from the steam, because the steam is hotter than the lid, and the lid cools the steam down, and the vapor turns into a liquid because it's cooled down. Likewise, if the lid was very, very cold, the moisture in the air outside would come into contact, and the vapor would turn into. But Egwene is looking at the food arrayed on the table, and there's condensation on the outside of one of these lids. Anyway, that's how I read it, and I was just like, wait, hang on, that's not how this works. That's not science.
Well, apparently Brandon Sanderson doesn't know science either.
Okay,
So
well, I've just set myself up for a callback. Maybe she had opened a lid on the inside. It was steamy. Maybe.
Or
all that condensation rolled down her sleeve. She's like, God
it
damn
was
it.
ice cream and the lid was condensating on the outside because she had ice cream on the inside. It was the dessert.
Heavily
right?
peppered soup.
Yes. Yes.
We know what it was. And bread. But I don't think it was frozen bread.
No, it was certainly not ice cream.
No. She doesn't deserve ice cream yet.
So, Egwene here wonders to herself, what had happened to Elaida? We know what happened to Elaida. She was always a bitch. We know that. But she wasn't.
She was born that way.
She wasn't always a crazy bitch.
Yeah.
A certain Paden Fane had spent some time with Elaida in the tower.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And the infighting, no one trusting each other, like the people sort of turning against each other, the secret. What does this sound like? Aradol. That's exactly what happened to Aradol. So I feel like, yes, Elaida was always a terrible person and we never liked her, but I think this level of insanity that we are seeing from her, right? Because she is egomaniacal and, like absolutely just drunk on power, like you guys had said before, I think is either sped up or exacerbated by her time with Paden Fane.
Definitely.
He knows what Paden Fane said to her, and even just his presence, people like the presence of Mordeth can turn people like that, right? And they had private conversations and stuff while he was there. There
She
was a
was
offhanded comment
absolute
about it.
fertile ground for madness to sprout.
Perfect. And
Just
what
like
a perfect target for him as well, like a person in power, So like, oh yes, this ripe
It's
cherry
as
for
if
the plucking.
she started
In
every
the
morning
power of powers.
standing in front of the mirror, applying an orange hue makeup over her face and going mad with power as she does this all day long.
Who's Paden Fane in that analogy? Is it
JD Vance,
JD
for
Vance.
sure.
Oh man. My last point here is that Egwene hopes that she can reforge the tower before the attack she dreamed about happens. Unfortunately, she won't, but the attack will be the catalyst for her reforging. Like with her rallying the novices and fighting off the Seanchan, it's immediately after that, and Elaida being carried off with an Adama around her neck to be renamed as Sufa or Suffer, which is a great name for her.
Does it happen in this book?
Well, we spoke about this last time.
Oh,
the tower stands
yes.
is one of the chapter names.
And the tower falls or something, or breaks or something.
Something like cracks,
Got it
crumbles,
open, yeah.
something.
Along those lines.
See, this is the bit that
Tower
confuses
shakes.
me, and I think I actually might have read this book to the point maybe to that, because I remember the tower being attacked. So
We'll have to keep an eye on where things start becoming. They'll obviously, the first time you read something where you go, "Whoa, this is huge! I would have remembered this. I cannot remember this ever happening." We'll know the point at which
because
you
all
sort
of this felt
stopped.
very easy for me. But like I said,
very
it's just a
familiar.
very great
Yeah.
continuation. It's like cool. None of
We've
this
spoken
is a
about
surprise.
it. That's the thing. We've spoken about it so much. It's been foretold so many times that you think you know that you've read it.
Maybe,
Last night,
maybe.
We'll see.
we watched family movie time was Goat, this new movie from Sony or something. We had a goat that plays basketball. And Christina's the whole time going, I've watched this movie. We've watched this movie. And I was like, you can't. It just came out. And she's convinced she watched it because we saw a trailer for it in the cinema once. I'm thinking it's like, so it was just a tidbit, like a foretelling, a premonition. She was just convinced. It's like, no, it's only been out a week. You
Some of
weren't
these
here, so-
movies, if you've watched the preview, you've seen the whole thing, plot, shooting.
trailers
match,
these days
the
are
whole
so-
lot.
Well, listen,
Yes.
a little goat wants to be a basketball player, and it's a kiddies movie. Of course, he becomes the basketball player and saves the day. But yeah,
Okay, but we digress. Let's turn our attention back to the world of the Wheel of Time in our next chapter, which is chapter 3, called The Ways of Honor. Vil, will you honor us with a summary, please?
Yes, I will. Aviendha, she's Aiel. She has honor. At the end of that chapter.
Very
all right.
well.
So let's discuss.
Discuss. Oh, he
We don't
thinks
have a
I'm
lot to
joking.
He's serious.
Okay, we're in the point of Aviendha. If you can remember it, she was snapped up from her first sister and sent out to do the bidding of the wise ones, because after all, she's still an apprentice. Anyway, Avi's out
Or is
spying.
she?
Well, she obviously thinks she's a maiden because she's out spying. And they sussing out a group of refugees, and how careless the world has become. And Aviendha blames cities. Cities is the cause for this shit in this world. Not the dark one, not the seals breaking, not Tarangairan that's coming. No, it's cities and horses. Those are the two things that's ruined man: cities and horses. Briefly, her mind travels to her sister Elaine, and then to her lover Rand. Elaine would have helped these refugees for sure, but she doesn't have the same views as her, and they can blissfully go unaware of them hiding in the bushes just right next to them in the Aiel way as they move on past. Rock is there. Yay, Rock. And he is commenting to keep their distance. Is the wise group then slips down the backside of the hill. As you said, Jody, a lot of hills and scouting and viewings on hills. The land is still a marvel.
But they are
to
not
her.
on horses.
Yep.
Only
They're not on
difference, yeah.
horses, yep.
But they are still talking about horses or thinking about them.
There's talk of horses
Terrible
and how it ruined
beasts.
man. Just mentioned ruining of man by horses and cities. Rock, Aviendha is still marveled by this land and its fertility, and this hill that she just slid down should have been farmed, not left bare. And again, cities has ruined man. That's why this hill is not even being farmed at the moment. Back in the hill waste, piece of land like that would be fought over and farmed. Yes, that's the way. Rand comes to her mind, and a set of fine calves, and fires up her loins. She will marry him, she tells herself. when she is good and ready. But for now, she's not good and ready. She's still yet to become a wise woman, and she's at a training, which brings us back to the fact that uh, she has gotten a lot of tasks. And it feels to her that they're trying to relay a message to her because the tasks becoming... You remember Egwene systematically and eventually getting a ribbon in the hair? I feel like we're on this sort of trend at the moment.
You're on the trend with the rest of us. Everyone's on this trend except Aviendha.
She does not know. Anyway, their group meets up with 200 odd, and in this group's a couple of wise ones. We've got Amis and Bear and Ruach, and they're all catching up quickly. They don't look best pleased at Aviendha making Aviendha want to back away, but that would be too obvious now. So she's just got to be there. Now, Ruach was sent by Rand to restore order in Aradomon, and specifically, I think, Bandar Even, that they've got to go and sort out stuff there, because refugees and, all the rest of the events as they have been playing out.
The chaos that Graendal is sowing in Aradomon specifically.
Anyway, Ruach and his group, they're busy making their way towards the manor house where Rand is, and perhaps they'll have some clear direction then, because they're also not 100% like with purpose and direction going into a half setup, it feels like. Aviendha then gets asked how many wise ones went along for the scouting. And then she's like, oh, I did. Wait, I'm not a wise one. Oh, trick question. Shit. You're not a maiden anymore, Aviendha. Nor are we soldiers. Everyone has their place, and as wise ones, you stay back. You don't put yourself in that danger. You make that decision. But anyway, Aviendha is not in a good place at the moment. The wise ones will surely set a penance for this. Anyway, it's now decided that they must run and move, and as the Aiel do, they start running. No need for horses. And Amis asks Aviendha to run with her. Aviendha is then asked about her opinion of Rand and all of the recent requests that he had posted on them. She's asked whether she loves Rand, and with that, she's like, yes, she loves him. Amis is trying to get out of Aviendha more about Rand, and that she does love him, but she fears that he thinks hardness is strength, which it's not, and that she will marry him. The question is raised about Min, and she just said they will reach an accommodation. It's not clear whether they'll become first sisters or what yet, but there is very important Min viewings that sees her marrying and having kids. But she then quickly goes back and realizes that actually Min's words was never marry together and kids. Anyway, Aviendha corrects the statement just to make sure that she doesn't have any further tow, because she's very stressed about having tow to the wise ones at the moment. Anyway, she then gets told, oh, by the way, here's a bag. Take this bag. Inside that bag, you'll find 3 different colors of seeds. And she already knows what's coming. Frivolous tasks that everyone will know about, that has no meaning, no value, not like carrying water, not doing anything good to society or sept. You're going to count seeds, and whatever you say and whatever number you bring up will be the wrong number. You're going to do it again and sort them. And to that, she's feeling absolutely shattered. What did she do to shame her so? Whatever did she do? End of the chapter.
Joseph, got any thoughts? Got any theories?
Do I? This feels like book 4 Aviendha. It's like she's regressed to what is a caricature of what an Aiel is.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm the only one.
No,
Boris is
Johnny,
saying yes,
I listed out the comments here. So this is from Aviendha, right? Cities were stinking, festering places like sores that never healed. She had a pretty good time in Camelin, right? Like this is
Please.
overkill of a
Itemize
very,
the bill
like,
for us.
Yes, basic thing. Then when she watches the refugees, she felt pity for the refugees. The emotion surprised her. What? That she would feel pity. And then thinks about how Elaine would help them. Aviendha has empathy, right? This like hardness that is baked into her here, I feel completely incongruous with the character that we have come to love as much as we do. I was just saying, like, firstly, she's not without compassion, so I feel like she wouldn't be surprised at feeling pity for refugees, and the disdain for cities is odd, seems much harsher than what we have seen from her thus far. Plus, she has quite obviously been softening her stance on wetlanders for some time now.
Yes.
She didn't trust change. It couldn't be spotted or stabbed. Seems regressive. Like, she's not thinking along those lines anymore. Sure, she went to go scout, but she's not thinking like, I can't stab change. That's fucking square one, Aviendha, if she even ever was that bad. And then the horses. Terrible beasts. Why did wetlanders insist on riding them? Baffling. Really?
No.
Baffling.
You've ridden on them.
It's
I'm sure. I mean, like, I remember her making comments about, I can see their usefulness. You know.
Yes, and it's not baffling to her. And I mean, sure, you guys run a lot. There's a lot of people that don't run a lot. If you can't run yourself, run on a horse. It makes perfect sense. So yeah, I think Brandon was maybe leaning too hard into the Aielness and trying to funnel all of it through Aviendha, who I think has, out of all the Aiel, Aviendha has softened the most.
She's been living in cities, wearing silk dresses,
having
baths,
having feelings for other people. You know, like empathy has not evaporated. Yeah. Anyway, Joe, I agree. This really stood
100%.
out to me. This was I used the phrase to T-Bone, who's not following the story at all and doesn't even know these characters. I said to her, "This is not my Aviendha." You know, like I had to. But yes,
it's like
anyway,
TV show
that was my big big bugbear with this whole episode, like all the chapters we covered here. Anyway. Anything else? Because I've got a couple of little bits and pieces flopping around.
Who wants to bitch and moan some more?
No more bitching.
No. I'm look. They're scouting, and they're obviously she's already a wise one, and they just want her to realize it. Like they can't tell her directly. It's not like a graduation ceremony.
That's the final step.
Certificate. Yeah. Which you take that bag of seeds and you throw it in their face and tell them, fuck you, I'm not doing this anymore.
I'm a wise one. This is beneath me. That's why the punishment is becoming more and more embarrassing, because they're trying to push her to that point. And I think there's another trip to Ruidian involved within. Once you've done that, okay, now your final trip to Ruidian happens. But there's a giveaway line.
I believe. Like, I'll believe that part of her personality, that she doesn't believe she's ready yet. Everyone has imposter syndrome.
Yes. I mean, that's a clear continuation of the arc. Yes, I do believe.
But the rest,
There's a section here where Ruach is talking to Amis, and he's saying, what is he saying? Like, some of the soldiers don't know what we're doing here, and they're a bit confused and stuff. And then when he leaves, Amis asks Aviendha, so what do you think about, this doubtfulness coming from the clan chief? And Aviendha says, it's obvious. The clan chief has no doubts. He is speaking on behalf of others that have said this stuff, but he doesn't want to bring dishonor to those that have said this. So he is speaking himself. So he's fine, but he's bringing, and Amis goes, that's a very good observation. But at one point she asks her, I did not ask Aviendha, the silly little girl. I asked Aviendha, the wise one. Like, Amis says it to her, the words, and she doesn't click. She doesn't
I actually thought I made a note with it. That's why I was so confused in that area when I was going through my notes. Like, to the point. Like, I'm asking you now, like, not the silly little girl, like the wise one.
I'm asking Aviendha, the wise one. So, but I mean, it would be that is quite a leap for an apprentice, right? To go, actually, no, fuck this. I'm a wise one now. Because that's quite a big leap.
I'm going to guess there's also not like a guideline that says this is the final step to wise womandom. Like, you have to claim it as your own. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, fight.
And they can't tell them that because that's too easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least the Aes Sedai know they got to go naked through some terangrial.
Yeah, they get like summoned. A bell rings. You have been called.
Yeah. Line up in your city with your horse.
The chapter icon is the Aiel spears, and then the chapter name is the ways of honor, and then you're like, Aviendha is like the first word you read. And then it's kind of disappointing, like this weird, harsh sort of like you talk about honor, but like I feel like I can't get behind this behavior.
Well, maybe look first. Brandon Sanderson Aviendha chapter. Okay, let's give it some time. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'll give him this one.
Never read about the True Bloods. These are the people doing the scouting that Aviendha is with. They are a warrior sept, the True Bloods. They are the ones with a very secretive purpose.
Oh, yes.
No one knows what their purpose is. They do, however, excel at many things. Scouting, they dance well, capital D, dance. But many, particularly the newer members, seem to have a need to prove themselves to the other warrior societies as good warriors. This is assumed to be due to the obscurity of the specific purpose of the True Bloods, which is to serve the clan chiefs. So, yeah, interesting. Like, just when I read True Bloods, it's like, who are these? Oh, it's a warrior society. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just never read about them.
I mean, didn't they come up in our list of we had to remember when you had to choose a society?
Yes, but I mean, you still don't like they don't. It's not like the Stone Dogs that you read about all the time. You know, any of the others. Knife hands.
Moridin.
Knife hands. Always my favorite.
Yeah.
Aviendha thinks to herself here that Rand did offer to marry her once.
Mm-hmm. He did.
It
was very inappropriate, though.
Well, you thought he was being very honourable because he had just had sex with her.
Mm.
Yes.
He didn't know. He knows nothing.
We could get married. And she was like, what? No, you idiot. We just had sex. Cool your jets. You're smothering me. Give me space. Another cool little blast from the past here. Bear is back.
Yep.
She's never left my mind.
She and Sorelia for a long time occupied the same space because they both have grey hair. They're both older. Like when you meet Amis and Bear and Melaine and those guys originally on the slopes of Chindar, you know, outside of Ruidian, Bear is the oldest one. She's the one that comes running over despite her old age and stops Couladin from throwing the spears and, you know, like all that sort of shit. So I think the last time we read about her, when I went and looked it up, like in just her sort of history, the last time anything specific about Bear was said was around Kyrian, when Rand was still stationed there. So it's been a long time since we've read about Bear specifically. It's also funny how Aviendha thinks they were pretty close to the manor house, only a few days on foot. Like it's a few days travel, but they think, oh no, that's close. You know, like we're not going to travel. And also Ruach wants to know exactly what the land looks like around the manor house where Rand is staying, which I just thought is such a cool Aiel tactical thought as well. No, it's fine. We'll run because then we know exactly the ground that anyone that might be attacking us would have to cover to get to us. You know, like it's just RJ's fucking cool military mind. Yes. Super cool. Cool. That is it from me on that chapter. So we only have one left for this episode. It is a huge, huge chapter. Chapter 4 called Nightfall. Joe, you reckon you could sum up this gigantic chapter by nightfall in Spain?
It's such a burden. My first two words are fucking Gawyn. All right. So.
Mine are, in my notes, lol Gawyn.
Mine are nothing. No notes.
Yes. No notes. Gawyn and his buddy Giselle scouting a group of rebel soldiers from Egwene's camp, one of the nearer the villages of Tar-Valon. Maybe even that other place. I can't remember the village's name. It's irrelevant. Giselle wants to attack. He's like, let's go get him. And Gawyn sees the soldiers are respectfully searching homes. They're not breaking anything. They're not taking anything. He's like, nah, we'll leave them alone. Those are Gareth Bryan's men. And he knows, listen, we've killed some groups before. We keep on killing groups, and we kill this group. It's going to lead Gareth straight back to us. They'll wonder what these guys found in this village. They've got them killed, and they're going to come and investigate.
Yeah.
He's a forward-thinking hook.
It's pretty smart, actually.
He's a very smart dummy. The younglings have been raiding, using Gawyn's knowledge of Gareth Bryant's tactics to maximize the success. But he thinks to himself, once more, I'm fighting one of my mentors. Like I did Hammer during the breaking of the tower and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't shake the feeling that Elaida is intentionally trying to get him and his men killed.
Mm-hmm.
Egwene chose her side. Hammer chose his side. Gareth Bryan has apparently chosen his side. And maybe I chose the wrong side? End of chapter. Yes, you did, dummy. That's
Considering you've fallen in love with the leader of the other side.
See,
come on,
dummy.
dude. Yeah, no, he's
Strategically
a dumbass.
brilliant, but stupid at everything else.
I'll cut him some slack. I'll say he's conflicted because you get some evidence through the other warder that's with him or the other youngling that's with him, right? Like where he goes, no, obviously we listen to the Aes Sedai. We are warders. And then Gawyn thinks to himself, but that's the thing. We're not actually warders yet. So we haven't been bonded by any Aes Sedai. So he's like, he feels like he's being loyal to the tower because they were warders in training. But he is super conflicted. Like he knows he's fucking up. He's lost. He's absolutely lost.
Yeah. Look, I say that he's wondering if he's chosen. No, he knows at this point. He's chosen the wrong side.
Yeah.
Brandon got this guy, unless RJ wrote it this chapter as well. But this is Gawyn.
Yeah.
In a nutshell,
it is. Maybe he gets better now.
He got better.
He does. No. He does. Like we said before, he does have that cool fight with the blood knives. That's pretty cool. Maybe that's a redeeming moment for him. You don't remember what that is? We'll see. Hey?
Not a clue.
I'm not going to say.
Not knife hands.
It's rad. No. But it is really cool. Yeah, I didn't have any other notes as well. Just like, are you destined to fight against all your mentors, Gawyn? That's your choice, dumbass. He killed Hamar and Coolin, who was the master at arms and a warder, and now he's fighting Gareth Bryan. Do you feel that maybe you're swimming in the wrong direction here? Like, yes, you do. Yeah,
and all for
I'm not even going to ask you.
Villy's he's like Captain Picard, facepalm.
Checking out.
Yeah, boy's much too pretty for his own liking and just not enough grey cells.
Yeah. All right. So let's not dwell on that Gawyn chapter. Let's see if he redeems himself later in the book. So, out of all of that, favorite moments time. Willem.
Yes, I've got a favorite moment. And it's the one that sucked me into the book the most. And it is the very first, the very opening of the book in the prologue. The chapter with the two old mates that hang out up north, Borderlands, farming and smithing. I did pick up a mistake in that didn't make sense to me. What's his name? Renald. References war and his dad went to the Aiel War. But his sons have left the house already, and the Aiel War was only 20 years ago. So something doesn't gel up for me in that timeline. I think someone had a mental slip in mentioning their dad and fighting in the Aiel War, and I've never fought in a war. And I'm like, well, 20 years ago, you were 20 years old and farming. So you should theoretically have been at the Aiel War, not your dad.
Maybe he just didn't go to the war. Like, not every single person went.
I thought
maybe his dad went.
Yes. But
that, a draft dodger.
I was expecting that. I was expecting a logical retort to my... And then it hit me in this preparation. Is that when you are a Borderlander and your dad is 75 years old, he still marches off to fight the Aiel. And that is just the way it works for the Borderlanders. And now he's mature. He's now 40-something. He's been farming for 40 years, so he's probably 60. Now he's marching off to war. Just like his dad.
He's probably 45.
Yeah.
started farming when
I
he
don't
was
think
5
they
years
live that
old.
old.
Probably. He's been farming for the last
Also, life
40 years,
expectancy.
so probably 42 then.
Okay.
But yes,
Maybe our age.
he is, so, and I think why that was my favorite chapter is because it had nothing to do with the story. It set a very ominous scene of, and no one's speaking about it, clouds that are like Sauron's eyes from the Blight zooming in on people. It is
Aren't
pretty
there
weird.
also, like some of the clouds are black, but some of them are silver? Not grey,
Lightning
Like a
is silver.
creature in the sky.
They're roiling, but they're all black. It's the lightning that's silver.
It reminded
that's
me, if you
breaking up the
remember the
blackness.
show Lost, of black smoke.
That
Oh,
went
the
that
black
way.
smoke.
That went that way, but anyway,
God damn it. Why did you have to bring that up?
love Lost.
Okay, Jody, change of topic. Quick, your favorite moment.
I've already spoiled it. You know what it is.
Egwene.
It's Egwene.
Yes,
Egwene
it
just
is.
being Egwene. Like, if I have to choose one sentence, it's when Sylviana says, "The Amberlin has spoken," and she goes, "Yes, I have."
Yes, so good.
Very, very good. I mean,
Yeah.
I made it one of my honorable mentions, Joe. Like,
All right.
I couldn't let it slide, but I am trying to be
Now,
less predictable.
I did have an honorable mention of that section there.
Ooh.
And my honorable mention is just 2 tears. That's it. She thinks about that little bench or whatever what they lean over, how it should be stained from the tears of many girls, but today her tears didn't even drop down her face.
Yeah.
They
She
didn't
just
even roll down. They were just in the
dabbed 2
corners of her
little
eyes. Yeah.
corner eye tears, and for me that's like, yes, our girl is leveling up.
Badass. Big time. Big time.
Yeah.
My favorite moment was Rodel springing his trap. I've been loving like the slow build up to this, like from when we first, every chapter you read about him, it's just this whole big plan evolving, which is great because it just shows his incredibly brilliant military mind. So I'm eating up anything Rodel Ituralde is just fucking awesome. And then another honorable mention, the death of Masema.
Oh, yeah. Fuck that guy.
So-
Pretty passed on.
so
Yeah,
done
moved
with
on
him.
in my life.
Kind of like,
Yeah.
How good is it?
It doesn't even resonate with me.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that like Galena, Savannah, Suroth, Masema, all these characters that you actively hate are just like dropping like flies all of a sudden.
Imagine-
These big picture
imagine
stuff
this
now.
section of
these
the-
tools can
Imagine in this section of the books that we actually got Paiden Fane also just like, oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
someone found him dead on the side of the road.
he slipped and fell off a cliff.
Choked on a hornet
Yeah.
or something.
He was riding with his mouth open and a hornet flew in.
We've got some favorite moment comments from Jonna Pierce as well, which
Hey.
go like this. I'm unsure if I can specify a favorite moment in this set of chapters. This is really just an excellent highlight of how low everything is right now. You do get a few POVs that you don't normally get, and that's a nice little change. I do love seeing some action from the great Captain Ituralde and knowing that for now, at least, he seems to have full control of his mind and is not acting against the light yet, because we know the great captains get compelled at one point. I also enjoyed reading about Gawyn and his ditherings between his love for Egwene and what he's supposed to be doing for Elaine. And I mean, I guess maybe she meant Elaida. And yet he's over here still listening to Elaida. Oh no, okay. What he should be doing, supposed to be doing for Elaine, and how he's still over here listening to Elaida. That's right, he's failing Elaine and Egwene by listening to Elaida. It's actually twice as bad as I thought.
Yes.
Jonah says, "Come on, bro, pull your head out of your ass already."
Yeah, there we go. That's the sentiment
Yes.
I like.
That is the
So to
overarching sentiment, yes.
from everybody that has read this series, yes. So to our other listeners not named Jonah, send us your favorite moments, your theories, your corrections, or just say hello. You can do all of that via the social media links in the episode description. I always rattle that off really quickly, but if you just scroll down on your podcast app, there are a bunch of hyperlinks in there to our Twitter account and Blue Sky and email and Discord and all that stuff. And all you have to do is click on them and it takes you straight there. So leave us a message so we can read it on the show, or go to the website at bloodandashespodcast.com where you can leave a voice message that we can splice in as well. Please rate and review our little show in your favorite podcast app so it can reach even more fans. And when you've done all of that, pick up that copy of The Gathering Storm and prepare yourself for next time on Blood and Ashes, where we will cover chapters 5 through 10. That is 6 chapters, Joe. You don't even have enough fingers on one hand. We will be covering
I've got an AI hand, so I do.
And 12 fingers. A Tale of Blood, When Iron Melts, The Plan for Aradoman, Clean Shirts, Leaving Moridin. Chapter 9 of this book is called Leaving Moridin. Jesus. And the last one we'll cover is The Last of the Tabak.
Oh, that's going to be a sad one.
The Longbottom Leaf?
The last of the Longbottom Leaf. I was about to make that joke. It is always sad when you get to the end.
I know
does
how
slow
sad
their
it
wits.
is when you get to the last of the Longbottom Leaf.
Yes. Well, while everyone goes and secures more tobacco so that they don't ever reach the end of their own supply, I will say to all of you, sleep well and wake.
Good night, everyone.
Back to the roof?
Back to the roof? What is that?
Back to the roof on the, in the pipe?
All right.